I'm gonna do is I've hit record on OBS instead.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll stream the recording after we're done, and then I think the put a cable in while session's running might actually be the way forward. So yeah.
Maybe look into a power line adapter if you don't want to run cable. It would basically just use the existing wiring in your house
Yeah, I
as a
could do
cable.
it that way as well. But I mean, like I said,
Assuming
if I just
assuming your router and room are on the same circuit.
yeah, they are. But if I just run a cable during session time, I think that's the best possible, because even signal over electrical network has like a rate limit. I think I can't remember what it was now, but yeah,
It's 100 up or something.
Be easier to run a cable, I think. But yeah, okay. So we're recording. I'll stream the recording later. Give me 1 second.
Splice the session and the recording together.
Yeah, disgusting, but it will have to do for now. Better than crashing out. Hopefully, this will work a little better. Where did I
had said middle. You didn't say anything after I said middle.
Oh, really? Okay. So,
yeah, you were gone.
Okay, so flicking through, you catch some brief glimpses of the start, which is, basically you can see Kathy taught them to write. So there are letter exercises at the beginning of the book, diagrams she's drawn so that she has started to illustrate, like, this is the word for rock, this is the word for this, and like the first few pages you flick through it, it's just Kathy taking the time to sit there, and because they understand common, just teach them to read and write. Getting towards the middle, what you start to uncover is a dialogue where Kathy is asking them about where they were before, where they've been, and you start to get a picture that they have been living in this cave system for a very long time. Exactly how long you don't know. They could have been here longer than definitely been here longer than the Goldbow bases have, like the outposts, but they were probably deeper within like the cave system somewhere for most of their society's existence. But you can see Kathy starting to be like asking questions about the caverns around the area she was interested in, right? Like, when you get to the middle of the book, she starts sort of getting information about which of these tunnels actually connect back to the Zemesian wastes. Which of these tunnels, like, do you avoid because you know it's got more Ravagers in it? And she's starting to, like, piece together information more about this side of the tunnel system from the Grawl. On a 6, you notice that she's named them Grawl after the celestial world for Bowl, because of the way they like to set up their cities. As you can see it right now, they create these little craters and then leave the buildings in it. They've got several of these settlements dotted around. Grawl, they're named after the fact that their towns are all little bowls, divots in the ground. But yeah, other than that, unfortunately, on a 6, like, there's tons of stuff in here, but that's what you get at a
Just
glance.
not enough time.
Yeah, not enough time.
So we want to leave them a gun, yes? At least until we can get back to them?
I would
That's
say
a
yes.
you decision.
I say so.
I approve.
I'm going to kind of sit down, cross-legged, and all right, little ones. And I'm going to show them how to use the handgun that I have.
Okay.
Oh my god.
They seem to be able to shape stone somewhat at will, but only deductively. They can cut through stone, but they can't, like, conjure it more than anything.
Add to.
Yeah. So what they do is you're teaching them, they start creating, like, places to put the gun, to kind of anchor it, as well as learning how to operate it as well. So they create emplacements for this gun as you're sort of, like, teaching them how it functions. They seem quite industrious little creatures, really. But yeah, little people.
And yeah, I'm just going to leave them the gun and however many bullets I had on hand.
Yeah. They create a little armory bunker where they put the bullets in, and they create a central plinth where the gun goes.
Powerful. We are destabilizing their society.
Starts with one gun. Not soon they'll have an empire.
We stand Growltown in this household.
But yeah, after you've taught them, what do you want to do? Are you heading back to the campsite you'd set up before, or?
How many more hours of sleep do we have left?
I mean, you'll want to make up the gap that you've had, because you've been here for a bit to, like, teach them and so on and so forth, so I would say...
Was I and Clara
you were the last
shift?
So I think you've got, like,
okay, I'll...
3 to 4 hours of rest left, something like that.
Yeah, I'll finish up. Might as well.
Okay. You guys head back to the encampment. As you walk away, the Graal give you a little wave, and you watch as a dome starts to appear, like an illusory covering. It looks like a capstone over the top of the settlement, making it look like this bowl just ends in like almost like a meteor has plunged through. It makes it look like something has like punctured through into the hole, essentially, which is how they usually hide their settlement. Yeah, you leave them behind. You finish your rest. I don't know if anyone needs to expend anything or get anything back, but you can certainly do so at this point. Caliban, actually, as everyone's filtering back into the defensive area, Sky puts a hand on your shoulder, Caliban, and says, can the two of us talk?
Just I nod and just to follow after her if she's like, if we're going somewhere private.
Yeah. Takes you down, takes you somewhere, just the two of you to talk. Says, you watch her ability drop completely. There's a wince. She's turned her power off completely. She's fully herself in this moment. She looks at you and says, I have watched your class since we set off, and I will say you are, all for how early you are in your education, very talented fighters. You in particular, Caliban, your ability to react, adapt, and protect yourself is above the standard where you should be at this point.
I'm sensing a but.
But in this fight, you were more willing to put yourself in harm's way. I believe this is because you found something you wanted to really fight for. When you were on the train, I was able to see some of your conflict out of the window. Your desire to have no openings, show no weak points. It makes your strikes predictable. It makes what you'll do predictable. If you're always covering yourself, never showing a vulnerability, it's easy to know where your blade will go next. She pauses for a moment. She just sighs. She looks away from you, as if weighing up something, before she looks back to you and says, I know as well as anyone else what it means to cut yourself off to protect yourself. I know how invincible it can make you feel. Like you alone can protect the world as a shield. I'm going to tell you something. When Axel was first arrested, I retreated into my ability. I wanted, I believed, to do the work that he would be unable to do. That if I were to throw myself into protecting as many people as possible, when he was returned to the city, I would be able to tell him that I protected people, those he cared about, for him. But it wasn't until much later I realized I was more protecting myself. More than anything, he needed me to speak out and show him that what had happened affected me. I've spent a long time making up for that. Maybe I still am. You care about your noble obligation. I've seen that today, and you told me as much in that meal. I believe that you truly mean it. You want to protect others. But you can't protect others just by surviving.
Caliban was silent throughout the entire her exchange. The haughtiness, like, in his demeanor just sort of like shifts, I would say. It doesn't disappear, but it shifts. There's a part of him that wants to scoff and just like brush it aside. But he smiles in a way that you're not actually smiling. And he just shrugs. I have my reasons.
And so did I. I'm not expecting this conversation to cause you to change everything you've done for your entire life. I wish someone had said it to me. It's up to you what you want to do with the message. I just had to say it.
Looks at her, where's her injured, like, part? Is it on her left arm or her right arm?
Would be her right arm.
Just sort of like, considers, like, patting her, like, on the uninjured part of her arm. But just, like, pulls away, and he's like, I get what you're saying, but maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. I'm not so sure myself. But whatever may come, don't expect it immediately. But thank you.
She nods. You watch as her power returns, as your fake smile sits on your face. The pain from her arm recedes, and she leads you back to camp. You guys rest well enough. Has everyone done whatever they need to in order to restore whatever they need?
I only have one hit dice left. I'm gonna save it.
Yeah.
I'll spend the hit dice just
If you do that, given I cooked the day before, you will get 1d8 in addition.
It's true, Caliban. You can have an extra D8 on top of that if you need it.
Alright. 1d8.
Fucker, he's so rich he has hit dice to spare.
That is back to full.
When you all wake the next morning, Sky is already awake, sat by the entrance, the little, like, gap. She looks at you as a group of individuals, looks at you, Dayfair, and she says, I have a plan, but it's going to ask a lot of you. Of the group of you.
Right?
Plan to do what?
All ears?
I didn't tell you exactly everything Kathy told me in the message she got through.
Where is shithead?
You see him at her feet, knocked the fuck out. She has hit him in the head.
Yeah.
He is unconscious.
That'll do.
Carry
on.
She just says, she told me that she was priority 2. That my main concern should be whatever it is this Sin group is doing here in the caverns. I respect Kathy enough to respect her wishes. But I can't leave her there.
So we're splitting the group.
I would like you to try.
Are we?
I would like you to try and rescue her as a group without me. We'll all return to Outpost 2. I'll gather as many peacekeepers as I can, and I will lead them against the Sin encampment. Will you, for me, try to find her and bring her back?
What do you
We
know
know
about where
if
she
Cass-
is? Is that even possible?
She's down in that chamber underneath the... All I know is that she said she used the deep pool that we crossed over in order to get into the tunnel. She swam down and found some way through in her desperation. One of those tunnels down there leads into the main magma chamber. We can
Growing expression of discomfort.
grab
Now, don't stand too excited yet.
diving gear or whatever you need from Outpost 2. If that's the route you want to take, I don't know of another one, but that was my plan. But I can't ignore what she said. I wanted to, but I can't. Alternatively, if you feel you can't do it, then you'll come with me. We'll lead the peacekeepers, we'll deal with this Sin encampment, and then together we'll try and rescue Kathy, but I don't know, something tells me it would be too late.
I have no idea what kind of things expect us in the encampment we're about to enter. Are there any resources we might acquire, or are we basically left with what we have currently?
We can provision Outpost 2 for whatever we can find. I don't know exactly what they keep on hand. They're not exactly used to hosting a large group of EK, but there could be something.
Out of character, she was confident about like there being more like rebreathers and diving equipment.
Yeah, she knows there's diving equipment, so getting you down into the deep sort of like water pool, that's fine. What I think Dave is talking about is whatever waits for you in that underground city. You guys, no idea. You briefly fought one of their outer guardians, this like bone construct that destroyed her arm. There could well be more of them.
I'd suggest, given how crazy one of those fucked us up, that we go for a stealthy approach. Avoid any combat.
Or
Get in soundly, get out soundly.
I'm not
Much.
asking
as
you,
long as it's not faster than us, we run.
I'm not asking you to risk your lives. Just try.
I mean, if we're gonna try, we might as well succeed. Just kind of grins.
promised Axel I'd look after you all. I found myself pinned between the requests of two close friends.
Well, if we do this, we don't tell Axel. We just say that you were with us the entire time.
I think I'll tell him. It's just I'm just trying to illustrate the position I feel I'm in.
If we all make it
Basically-
out of one piece, I think we can afford to bend the truth a little bit.
I believe this is just this is. I mean, this just got upgraded from a field mission to essentially a field mission, like a field mission quotation mark to a field mission, I assume.
I just I wouldn't say it if I didn't think you were capable of it. I've been with you every step of the way. It was Uther's constructs that got us through the pillory. Clara, you led us through the water tunnels. Caliban, you stepped up last night with the Graal. Adhira in the tunnels with Envy, and Dafer, your runes have been invaluable in keeping us safe and dealing with the Ravager Swarm. You're new to this, but you're resourceful and you work well enough as a team. There's still room to grow, but I think you can do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask.
Cave cars in the distance.
We'll do what we can. I like as I know my folks here. I don't think this is a question.
She nods.
I mean, I'm in.
Thank you,
Mhm.
all of you. Let's move. We'll get to Outpost 2 before long. We'll see what we can grab there. I'll go with you as far as the entrance to the long ossified tunnel, and then I'll split off with what peacekeepers I can grab. And if you get Kathy, if you need to turn around, head back to Outpost 2, I'll meet you there once I'm done with whatever waits for me down in the Ravager Caverns.
Like you see, like during the discussion, it's not like Dafer has like the most resolute of facial expressions. It's more of a of two options where he likes none of them. He likes one of them slightly less, so he leans towards the other one. But it's like the enthusiasm is not there.
And she knew that when she looked at everyone, Dafer, she looked at you last for a reason. She knew this wouldn't sit well with you.
Yeah, but like I know the folks that I associate with to a degree, so I just with it.
She will say, Dafer, I know you look out for your own more than anything. But sometimes, and I think you're starting to understand that in this moment, it means more than looking out for their physical well-being. Sometimes it means honoring what they would want to do.
I'm honestly not sure I understand. Maybe I will later. For the most part, right now, to me, this is me not thinking. This is me being somewhat confident we can handle this to a degree, and somewhat confident that we can extricate ourselves if we can't.
She nods. Slings Envy over her shoulder and starts to move out towards Outpost 2. Is there anything anyone would like to do during the short journey to the outpost? No.
Deep in thought.
It is a couple of hours. Sky leading the way through some passages that she is familiar with, having been on sort of Ravager extermination missions when these caves get too infested, you eventually approach a sealed barrier door that she presents a crystal card to, which seems to open up a small opening. She's a short conversation with someone on the other side, and the door irises open. The moment she steps through, she takes command of the situation. She tells 2 nearby peacekeepers to take Envy from her. She says, do not unbind him. If you want to put him in manacles, you add the manacles as well. I want 4 people. 2 people are looking at him at all times. He goes straight up to the top of Caldaris, and he goes into the military prison. You explain to the military base commander what I'm about to do. I'm taking half of the garrison from Outpost 2, and they're coming down into the caves with me. We have an external faction attempting to conduct some sort of experiment on a miasmic monster down there. I will handle whatever miasmic monster there is. The rest of you will handle the mercenary groups that is with us as well. My other group here are going to be performing a rescue mission in the cave. Whatever resources you can give them, including diving gear or otherwise, are to be brought to them. I want inventories given to them as well. And she just strides into the space, tosses Envy off to 2 of these guys, and gestures to some of the worker administrative staff to liaise with you guys as to whatever you need. Outpost 2, by the way, as you're looking at it, as you're stepping inside, and she is giving orders to a sort of half bewildered, half nodding group of peacekeepers and staff down here. This is where the main bulk of harvesting is done for the gold bow mushrooms for now. You can see that there is a mishmash of patches. You can see that there is a mishmash of other mushroom types in here. Adhira, you feel that familiar shiver, and you hear from your spirit, you hear from Terminus. The gold bell mushrooms here. It's true. They've taken the core away from them. They should be old and wise and in charge. They should know how the caves work in every way and every neighbor, but they are like children in a great body. All they want is to grow, is to shout, there is no balance here.
Can you point me in its direction if I asked you to?
I can't sense anything. I can sense the network running through the walls. I can see where the borders meet between the different groups. I can hear their words. But wherever they have taken the heart of this mycelium network, it is sealed away and secured in a place that I cannot reach. I protected it somehow. But there is only one place I can think of it could be, where every person has tried to get into but has been refused access to. This project of their engineers. It's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe I could try something on the way back.
It's just a sort of quietness. You're not sure whether Terminus is thinking or Terminus is just lamenting, but there is a... You can tell he's still there, actively connected with you. The feeling that runs through your body isn't gone. It's almost like when 2 people just sit next to each other just to be next to each other, not needing to say something,
Mhm.
just wanting to be present. You get that feeling. They're there with you, but they're quiet.
Her hand is gonna like sort of drift down, and the thumb is going to stroke the top of the vessel. Very like kind of comforting gesture.
In the meantime, as a group, is there anything in particular you're looking for? Obviously, tanks of breathable air, pumps and tubes and things like that, that's easy to get. Like, that's brought to you fine enough. But there are ledgers of other gear to sort of flick through. Is there something you particularly be looking through, or are you just having a peruse through for anything that might catch your eye?
Medical
Was
supplies.
Uther for medical
Was-
supplies? Yeah.
rebreathers for the toxic fumes of the theoretical chamber.
Yeah, okay.
Explosive stuff for in two categories. One, just actually something that damages structurally, so dynamite and the like, and two, something like a flashbang, like with a focus on loudness, in case wyverns or the like, or any other kind of noise.
We're going to be too low for
thing we
wyverns,
encounter.
I think.
We shouldn't, but maybe anything else noise related.
So
It could also be a useful distraction, like throw it away in one direction, we run into the other.
Explosives, either destructive or loud. Yeah, got that. Anyone for anything else they'd be having a look for? No, sounds like we've got three things: the toxic fume, medical supplies, and explosives.
Does anyone remember what the bone guy was weak to? Like, what was he staggered by?
Force, I think.
Or sounds correct.
I mean, it might be wise if their guardians are like that brand of thing, to see if they have anything that could like provide us with force damage.
Yeah.
I suppose the dynamite might technically do that, but
Usually thunder, like concussive force. So yeah, maybe force damage is a good shout as well. Anyone
Rune
for
powder.
anything more? That's four things. We've got the fume rebreathers, medical supplies, explosives, and a potential source of force damage. No, sounds good. Can everyone give me investigation checks? Every person.
Sure.
10 gets you something, 15 gets you more, and 20 gets you something pretty cool.
I'm rolling this flat.
That's so bad.
12,
That's so
God.
bad. Wow.
18.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
God damn.
So we've got 4 topics and we've got 4 people who succeeded. So I'll let you guys pick. We've got 2 10s, a 15, and a 20 category. We've got the toxic fume rebreathers. Would you like that to be one of the 10s, the 15, or the 20?
Could you state
So-
all 4 categories that we're
So
on?
it was
I only know 2.
it was the rebreathers, medical supplies, explosives, and force damage source.
Personally, I'm thinking. I'm happy to have the explosives be one of the 10s. I don't think we need to like crazy
yeah,
on those.
I
so
agree.
Okay.
I think the force damage could probably also be a 10. Like, it's just to stagger them. I'm not expecting them to get one shot or anything.
Yeah.
So
And if I was-
but it
enough.
could be an amount. Could be an amount.
Although
and, like having multiple teamwork points is gold.
Yeah, I also don't know whether the medical supplies need to be particularly fancy.
I think the rebreathers are gonna have to be the 20 because we're gonna be down there for a while, and just a small trek on the top of
Yeah,
the
but-
tunnels was enough to poison some of us.
yeah.
All of you.
I
except
poised easy.
Do you want to go for the natural 20 for the fume protection for the poisonous gases in the magma chamber?
I vote yes.
Makes sense to me. It's more of it takes out a environmental problem that we would have to constantly deal with, and that could fundamentally put us at a disadvantage.
Okay, so in terms of that, they do have a rebreather that covers the mouth and nose. It also has some runes that protect the eyes from fumes as well, which will get rid of any disadvantage looking through smoke, fumes, or hazes, or anything like that. So you all have a rebreather. You won't need to worry about how long it lasts. It's specifically designed for going into, like, fissures where there is some volcanic activity that they have like had before, where they've needed to explore. They've got specialized purpose-built equipment for the very thing that you're going to be going to do, and each of you gets one of those.
Now, how many of the special vision clearing ones do we have?
All of them. All the one you all have them.
Ah,
on
okay.
On a natural 20.
That's the nat 20.
That's the nat 20. On a 10 for explosives, obviously this is a black powder manufacturing center. They don't exactly have... So, well, no, let's be clear. They harvest the material that is used in that from the mushrooms, so it's not a refined source. What they can give you is essentially like either for a series of small pouches, 5 of them that can be thrown that make a loud noise, like almost like the starter thing that like a ninja would use to make a distraction and then run away, like one of these like snap pouches that make an explosion and a poof. Or they can give you one like shaped charge that is used for blowing through walls, doors, things like that you basically place on something, and you can be quite precise with it in order to like cut a circle out of something if you want to, or more of it in order to like blow out an entire wall section or whatever you would like.
Both of those are enabling items. Like they enable options. They're not combat effective, but both of those can be useful in different scenarios.
Yes.
One, if we need to get through a wall that otherwise we can't get past, or through some kind of, or the other would be against like a horde of enemies that we need to distract. Ooh, you know how to put me into rough situations. Any one of you have a preference?
I kind of think the shape charge.
Shape charge.
I also probably agree.
Okay.
Big hole coming right up.
And now, medical supplies and force damage were both mentioned for being a 10. Do you? I think on a 10 you would get a like a medical kit, like a stabilizing medical kit, for a 10. Or for an 18, I could give you like greater healing potions each. Alternatively, the force damage on a 10, I would give you a single use like arcane missile, magic missile crystal, or on an 18, I would give each of you an single use arcane missile crystal. Those are your options between.
Personally, I'm all in on the force. Like I still have, I think, 3 out of 4 of my 4 out of 5 of my healing die that I can dish out. I still have enough HP. I have a rage. I have warding bond. I can dish out.
You guys also still have lesser healing potions on you, right? I think you guys did bring some, so there is that.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody has 2 at least, I think, because I have 2.
Yeah, I think everyone has 2.
There's no way I have 2 when... there's no way I have the biggest amount of potions, so everybody has at least 2 or better.
You might have had an extra one just so that way we know you wouldn't drop, so you could have got someone up if you have to.
Yeah,
No,
That's the only other thing I would pitch.
I think you guys did bring quite a few, so I think you guys all do have 2.
Okay.
God, yawning is contagious.
Sorry.
No, I yawned before you.
Oh, so in that case, I'm all for the medical supplies so that we don't have to waste potions if we like need to get I don't know, somebody up.
Okay.
That isn't critical.
So you're
and then-
saying medical
Well-
as the 18, or
So
Oh no! Medical for 10.
yeah, so
Okay,
it would be
medical
one healer's kit with 10 charges, and each of you gets a single use of magic missile each from like a almost like a powdered crystal loaded into like a chamber. It's almost like a magic missile grenade.
okay.
Fascinating.
Who had the dragon grenades on them as well? Who's got them on their person?
I have.
One of the engineers would recognize them. You guys had the, was it bronze and gold?
Yes.
Yes.
The bronze one is actually a repulsion grenade, so they are breath weapon grenades, but they're the secondary breath weapons of metallic dragons. So the bronze one is like you throw it and it forces everything away from the center point. The gold one reduces the damage of everything in the field of its effect by half. So it basically is like a weakening grenade.
How does so is the gold one a reaction to throw?
No, you throw
Well, how
it,
does
and
that
then
work?
it lasts until the end of the creature's next turn. So it basically, like, everything in the area, there's no save. It just, all of them are half damage until the start of their next turn.
This is your
Everybody
this is the
out.
current version of like the setting dragon.
Yes. So there are still metallic and chromatic dragons in the setting, but most dragons are based off of materials. So, for example, a chromatic blue dragon is actually based more. It's more along the lines of like a gem dragon in a sense. Like a blue dragon would be like a cobalt or ocean dragon, and a gold dragon would literally be the material gold.
I more meant the secondary breath thing. Is this new with your setting?
No, this is actually a thing. All metallic dragons have 2 breath weapons.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They have a lethal and like a non-lethal version to a degree.
Oh, because they're good guys.
Because they're good guys. They're good guys. You got it.
That it surprised me. Just was like, whoa, wait a second. What's this like half damage kind of BS? I don't remember
I don't
that.
think it comes up much because I mean, who's gonna do that when you can just cook someone? But yeah. All right.
Why wouldn't you fight the battalion?
Sometimes you need to beat the metallic gold up just to make them realize that there is a problem going on in the world that they need to deal with.
It could be something solved by more sleep.
It's true. If you're a gold dragon, you can outweigh most issues. Liches, probably not, but
One of the few.
one of the few. Have you gathered everything you want to gather? Are you ready to go? You can see Sky organizing ranks of maybe like 40 or so peacekeepers, getting them armed, telling them how she likes to operate, what she wants them to do, so on and so forth.
Adhira is going to approach Sky when she finds like a lull in her attention and just come up beside her and say, you know, I never got the chance to ask, but I've always been curious. Why do we call you Sky?
It's, you know, it's the difference between looking up and seeing turbulent clouds and looking up and seeing clear blue. The idea of peace.
The small girl thinks on that for a second before smiling. I like that. It's fitting. I'll have to ask Kathy why they call her Vespa.
She smiles and says, yeah. She can tell you.
Gives me something to look forward to.
You and your group ready to move?
She looks back towards the others. I believe so.
She comes over to the group with Atira, says, ready to move out when you are.
Ready.
Okay.
Racing you.
Good luck. She orders the peacekeepers to get into sort of like formation, and with you guys, with her at the front of this, she starts making her way through the Ravager caverns with the group of you. There are occasional skirmishes with Ravagers on your way down, but with this many peacekeepers with you, with a more determined, less... you realize Sky was keeping back a little bit, letting you guys more be in the front and sort of deal with the things that are coming up. Sky at this point is moving quickly, is dealing with problems as they are coming up rather than consulting with you guys. And the pace through the caves is less of like a cautious trek. She's going for it. And you guys are sort of like keeping up, it occasionally stopping to allow these marching soldiers to catch up with the group. Is there anything you want to do as you are following Sky through for the next couple of days before you reach the splitting point between the two of you?
I mean, if it's days that we have, I would like to
Two, yes.
like bring up temp HP buffs on all
Yeah.
of my party.
Yeah, do it.
So should I just roll or?
Yeah,
Okay.
just roll and
shall I-
roll and say the name that you are rolling for.
Okay. In that case, first one Caliban, Uther, Adhira, Clara, and myself.
6.
Did I forget anyone? Because I was going by the tokens. as
No, I
they-
think that should be everyone. That's 5, right?
Okay.
Did you remember yourself?
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Dave
I got
went
4.
last.
Got the lowest out of all of them.
Cool.
However, I am pretty happy with those rolls.
Yeah, it's it will help. You get to the splitting off point. The noise of this large miasmic monster deeper within the cavern heading back down here, you know, it slowly grows from distant cries to much closer, much more harrowing sounds. You can see the look on some of the peacekeeper faces, but Sky seems to be keeping them busy in order to keep them from getting in their heads too much about the noise that they are approaching rather than moving away from. She looks to your group standing near the entrance to Oswald Tunnel and just says, remember there's the explosive charge still halfway through. Deal with it however you want, but I guess you've got those rebreathers now. You should be able to travel along the top of the tunnel as much as you want without issue. Bar the heat, I suppose.
Sam, remind me because I don't recall, but Stafer would.
There was booby
Explosive
traps
charge?
in the tunnel.
Yeah, there was.
Oh,
you,
those. Okay, yeah.
you guys punched a hole in to walk along the top to avoid what? Oh, it was an alarm. Sorry, it was not an explosive trap, but there was an alarm. But yeah, she just reminds. Yeah, there were explosive traps, but I think they were actually disarmed by Atira as you were going, or Atira and Uther, some combination of.
One of them was disarmed.
I ran through a good number of them.
Also, Atira triggered a few. But yeah, she just reminds you there is an alarm in the tunnel to just be aware of that. But otherwise, you've got this, and I'll see you soon. With that, she just peels away with the group, and you are left to your own devices in front of the entrance to the tunnel. do you guys want to do?
Well,
Are we
we're
ready?
now on our own.
Rebreathers on, and then we move, I guess. Shall I take the lead on this one, just in case anything nasty jumps out?
Feel free.
Alright. Dafer, like, puts on the rebreather thingy, because by tunnel entrance you mean, like, the... Oh, wait, no.
No, you're all the way on the other
old
side
tunnel.
still. Yeah, you've got to get through the ossified tunnel
Yeah.
to the water pool
Right,
first.
right.
Dafer,
That was more like there's at some part in the ossified tunnel where we need to get into the ossified tunnel, then there's a way to get out of the ossified tunnel to the outside of it.
That's going to be my first question is, when you reach the point where you guys breach through, are you guys taking that path again and heading up and over the top to get past the alarm, or do you want to try a different way of doing it? Obviously, I don't know what that would be, but...
I worry that if we go through the alarm, it's going to alert the camp before Sky can get there.
Yeah,
It'll just
we might have to go over the top still.
Which I think is fine. We have the rebreathers now. Against all the fumes.
Dafer in the lead, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Whew.
I see colors. I smell taste.
I see colors. I smell.
I smoke
One of these
colors, buddy.
You already.
Look, Matt, I only have like 2 perception with proficiency. I see colors. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I smelling is just taste as well. I'm losing my mind here.
Very good, Dafer. You're a healthy boy.
No. You misunderstand. This is the 9 wisdom speaking.
Dafer just went from black and white to nothing smells of anything to actually functional human being on that nat 20. Okay. You guys move forward. Dafer, you see that there has been some creatures moving through this tunnel. Most likely Ravagers. It is possible that a Ravager went through and set the alarm off already, depending on how it was set. I don't know whether you want to still go through the tunnel or whether you'd like to go and check, but you do notice that some creatures have been here, although you see no obvious signs of them immediately here. That's just like claw marks and things like that.
I mean, we would see that sigil either way.
Yeah, but
because
you guys
it's
traveled
near the entry.
You guys traveled for some hours on top of the tunnel. You'd have to go past the breach point to go look at the sigil, and then come back if it is still operational. That's the.
I don't think we have that amount of time.
Okay.
We just don't. I believe.
In which case, Dafer, you find the breach point that you guys came through before, where Adhira kind of morphed through, and you guys took out the Ravager before he was able to get to her. But you can see the path back up onto the top of the tunnel. You want to climb up, or are you boosting someone up first in particular?
I think I'd first poke my head out just to see if the coast is clear, and then I'd help everyone meet up.
On a nat 20, poking your head out, looking around, it doesn't seem to be changed from before. You still see the same sort of structures. Clipping on the rebreather as well, being able to see through the smoke much better than even like the tactical interface, which is designed for like picking out certain shapes. This rebreather is designed for like picking through smog clouds and other things like that, with the runes that it has under your eyes. You're able to see much clearer some of the structures that are around as well. Dafer, as was previously noted, there's this like ring of structures that are both religious and industrial next to the lava that they use. You're able to see where that encampment was, where you first got in contact remotely with Kathy, that maybe where Kathy was. You can see the encampment has been trashed. Something has stormed through it and broken a lot of stuff. You also can see signs of conflict again. Looks like you can even pick out a trace of blood there's like a red splatter across what would normally be like a blue gemstone finish that I guess, yeah, you've got keen mind, right, Dave? You would remember it wasn't there last time you looked.
Yeah.
How far is the drop, out of curiosity? From like where we are to there.
I'm just trying to think about, because you're on top of the tunnel. You've got about 100-foot headroom. It's a 500-foot drop. It was also a 500-foot drop into magma. Although, to be fair, Uther, if you get to the point which is nearest to the tower, it's about a 40-foot gap between you and the tower, but you could jump from the tunnel onto the tower, and that does connect to the rest of the city.
Any way we could drive a pitten into the tunnel wall and then attach it to the towers? That way people could get across easier.
It would take some weakening runes to get the pipe pitten in, and then obviously that section would be somewhat compromised. So yes, you could. It wouldn't be as secure as you maybe wanted it to be, Uther, but it would offer some.
What is
security.
okay? Next question. Diameter of the tunnel.
So there are technically 3 tunnels, right? Because they branch and connect repeatedly. The central tunnel diameter is wide enough for 2 people to walk side by side. So we'll call it 5 foot across because you're not in combat spacing. You know, you can just stand side by side.
Yeah. I was just sitting there wondering if we were to take a rope, pin it to the thing, and then loop it around part of the where you say it branches off.
Yeah.
Is there enough of a branch where there's a loop? Can we just tie it?
You're absolutely right. You could tie something off to it because it does separate completely. There are gaps. You could wrap a rope around it and tie it, and then throw something out to try and hook onto the other tower. How well you could get it to latch onto something is a different question altogether, but that is possible, Uther.
Yeah. Alright, I may consider that when we get closer to the tower then, so that way we can speed up the descent.
Well, if you wanted to do that, you'd be going past the drop point back into the tunnel, Uther. You'd be going past where you made the previous opening and going more, maybe like another hour's walk past where you would rejoin and head inside the tunnel again. So it would be a diversion from the most direct path to the pool, essentially. That's the only downside, Uther. If it doesn't work out, you lose about 2 hours travel.
Also, I think as an option, like this is about, we are on the ossified tunnels,
Yes.
like in this scenario, we're on the ossified tunnels and we want to bridge a 40-foot gap to a tower.
Yes.
We have climbing equipment, we have what we have on our people, on our persons. I think a way we could short sell this challenge would, I think, be the stone wall spell that Clara and Caliban have access to. That is just an option. I'm putting that out there because I think
Is
we could spawn
Stonewall
that from
permanent
the
or
wall.
temporary, though, is my
Permanent.
thing. Well,
After the spell's over, it's permanent.
Yeah, it's true. It is a non-magical wall of stone that remains permanently. Yeah.
Then that is up to the people who have been blessed by the little guys, if they would want to do that.
That doesn't mean I definitely want us to take that route. I just want to make sure that we're aware of our options.
I mean, here's the thing. I have a shit ton of movement I could do. I could split off, see if the tower is a viable option, and then catch up if I decide it's not. And if I do think it's viable, then I can at least see about getting the lay of the land to speed things up for us.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, that tower is also a shortcut for us, no?
If it works out, yeah.
Huh?
You wouldn't need to do the dive. You wouldn't need to travel to the dive if you wanted to do this, or if it works.
I'm
What do we
for it.
think? For it? Anyone else?
I'm. mm, I think I'm ambivalent. I think if we can try the rope approach, so we don't waste resources. We have the stone wall as a backup if we want to use that resource, or Caliban or Clara are willing to invest that resource, because like the other options you guys have access to there are super valuable. Since like one of those could be used to locate, for example, Sky, the Kathy as well, since we don't know where she is.
I actually have something for that, I think. One second. Check my shit. I do. We have one of her journals, yeah?
Yes.
Mhm.
When we get a little closer to the situation, I have...
So you want to locate another one of her journals? Is that the idea?
Yeah, when we get closer.
Yeah. Okay. That
So,
you know, obviously,
like, hunting her would be easier.
yeah,
than...
it would give you 10 minutes of 1,000-foot Kathy sonar, or it might lead you to where she has been if she leaves the journal somewhere, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah.
But it
But I
sounds
think
like you guys
that
are
also
heading for the
requires some
tower.
input on.
That sounds like you're heading for the tower, though. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Talking as you're moving along the top of the tower, fine. You've got your rebreathers. It's hot, but it is much easier than the last time you were here. With the rebreathers, you're able to breathe fine. It is still sweltering, but you are not in danger of becoming exhausted just by traveling along the top of this tower. As you move, those of you proficient in perception, please give me a check.
Oh boy.
What do our eyes see?
Colors. They see colors.
14.
I hate you so much.
Most eyes see colors, yeah.
Clara, Uther, Caliban, as you're moving along the tunnel, keeping an eye out in all directions for what might be threats, you notice that occasionally cresting out of the magma is some sort of worm creature. It's not gigantic, and it seems like there's more of them than anything else. They very much look like earthworms. They're very pale, covered in ash and hot rock and other things like that. It sort of spills over the surface of them, but they really do just look like ginormous earthworms that are sort of pushing their way through the magma pools. That draws your attention. Dafer, with your eyes sort of more ahead of you, focusing on each step as the person in charge, you notice that in the cavern ceiling where there are like little stalagmites, stalactites I should say, and other crevices, there is some sort of bat-like creatures crawling around there. They were asleep up until now, and they looked almost identical to the cavern ceiling. Now that they're starting to move around, Dafer, you can see that they are like rocky spikes with wings, with some other bat-like features sort of attached to them. But they are making notice of your group moving.
Heads up, quite literally. Bats on top of us might have noticed us. Not entirely sure if they're yet willing to encounter us, but they might be preparing. They don't look as massive as a worm does, do they?
No, they're pretty big, but they're not as nearly as large as these worms you can see like hundreds of feet away from you.
Wyverns.
No, they're not as big as wyverns. They're closer to the size of like a witch's hat.
That's a very odd unit of measurement to use.
I want one. I'm gonna put it on my head.
No, that's what it wants you to do. It's a
Yeah,
parasite.
and I'm obliging, and if I'm nice enough to it, then it can just, take some of my brain juice, and we can be friends. I can have some
So
cerebrospinal fluid as a
I
treat.
think Clara's rebreather is on the fridge. Saying weird stuff.
Absolutely juiced.
I'm afraid that fungal parasite will starve.
No, it want to be fungal. Okay. I have 2 questions for DM.
Yes.
So, looking at these magworms.
Yeah.
1.
Mhm.
Big question. Are there sandworms from the Laments?
Yes. I wouldn't say they're like full-on dune worms, but absolutely there would be giant sandworms.
Do these look similar to them in the facial structure?
In the sense, do you think this is like a regional adaptation of the same creature? Yeah, pretty much. They seem more familiar than not to you.
These worms moving about in the magma seem very similar to the ones we have back home that move through the sand. I bet you they're cousins.
Dayfra, as Adhira talks, you watch several of these bat-like creatures weirdly scuttle along the ceiling in a way that almost looks like they're just walking upside down. They do seem to be approaching the position of Adhira on the ceiling.
I immediately make like a shush noise. Not a shush noise, but like a shush sound-ish.
Mm-hmm.
How much would it slow us down if I start plunking down muffle runes in regular intervals? I think that would slow us to crawl, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because the material's so tough, it would be a few chunks to get the rune in properly as well, Dayfra, so it would slow you guys to a crawl.
Okay.
Have we had someone had a silence thing at one point?
Yes, but I think that's stuck on like a point. Like I can't set it onto a coin and carry that coin around.
You can set it on a person, can't you?
I don't think that works that way.
I don't think silence moves. Okay.
Sadly,
Oh,
I
it's
think.
sent out.
Yeah, I think it's like darkness that you can like put on an object or a person.
How far are we from the tower at this point?
Maybe another 30 minutes to travel, Uther.
Okay.
Could we possibly modify a silence to travel, and then just talk through spirit telepathy?
So, yes, it would mean that crystal probably never works again, which the school would be fine with. I just want you to know that if you use your crystal and modify it for this, that resource will no longer be available to you.
Oh, I meant like in the future.
Oh, in the future.
Workshopping.
Yeah. You could create a silence that moves like a stinking cloud, or create a silence that could be put on an object or something like that. It would obviously affect it in some other way, maybe reducing the time or something like that. But yes,
necessity is the mother of all invention, and it's just like this is that moment of necessity where it's like, this would be much better if we could, move it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could try to modify it right now, but
no, it's just go.
Like, for the most part, I just gesture us to be quiet, roughly pointing at the beds above. If you can make them out, and motion us for us to move carefully, not be too loud as we do.
Obviously, if you guys just want to try and sneak forward, you can all give me stealth checks.
This might be like my pass without trace angle, because I've been holding on to this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just like cast that and we can sneak past.
Yeah, pass without trace
That's an hour.
Yeah, I could say it lasts for quite a while as well, so you could get that for the full journey to the tower, and then some.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you casting it, Clark?
All right, group up, folks.
All right. Stealth checks from everyone with a +10, I think.
Yeah, it's +10.
Adhira disappears from existence.
for the benefit of all.
Jesus Christ.
19. That was a rough roll for you, Clark.
Yeah, I know.
30.
I'm not been rolling great.
That's two.
That was an average roll for me.
Oh man! Thank God we have Clara.
Caliban's yelling slurs at the bats on the ceiling.
Oi, oi, oi! This is Caliban, not me.
Oh, sorry. I lost track.
Look,
I feel like of all the people who could try and make that argument in their own defense, you are the worst one to be trying it.
Caliban, you can't just call them winged rats in High Semesian. That's
Oh, he's
still
calling
rude.
him worse.
So that's two 30s, 19, a 16, and a 50.
Down here so I can measure your skull.
Jesus Christ. You guys move forward. I do believe that Past Life Trace really did save you from wearing a witch's hat here, Clara. As you move forward, these creatures clamber along the ceiling. A weird mix, now that they're traveling past you, of bat, stalactite, octopus, and some sort of strange leathery fabric. It does pass on by, heading towards the noises, as it were. You guys reach the tower. Close to it, it's making a constant, like, crunching rumble sound as this wheel turns by the heat rods that come up out of the magma. You can see air being pumped through ventilation tubes that travel out from it to multiple different sections of the city. You can see it connects to the cavern ceiling. It plunges down into the magma. And also there are some like little ruined platforms and stuff, like the bridge. There was maybe once a big like Khazad-dûm style bridge from the central pillar back towards the city, but that's crumbled into different platforms that for even an EK in training itself is pretty easy to hop from platform to platform. Though looking at it from a distance, it's definitely not the most stable looking platforms you've seen. So several ways forward from the tower itself, but for now you're 40 foot from sort of like the upper third of the tower. There's lots of whirring gears and machinery, lots of stuff to get a limb caught in, and with the size of the machinery, that limb's gone if it gets caught in a gear. So there's lots of things that you can throw to hook onto, but there's also a lot of things that if it snags would pull a rope off and just tear it to pieces as well. So what do you guys want to do? You've got your target on the other side. There are all these moving pieces, plenty of bits to snag onto, and plenty of places to tie your rope off as well on your side. I can hear you. I'm going to grab a drink of water real quick, but I can still hear you, but I'll be right back.
Now that he's gone, it's the perfect time to speak bad about him behind his back.
yes.
As you can see, Chris is doing his best not to laugh.
I regret DMing you.
I think
I still think that trying to tie something off so we have an easier way back, especially if we have to carry someone.
Who do you think would be the heaviest here to carry back? Oh, no, not even. Yeah, I was gonna say David. Not even fucking close.
How's that a question?
Who's the lightest?
Okay. I think in terms of initial approach, I think the easiest one would be just somebody ties a rope around themselves, the rest of the group holds onto that rope, and they try to like make the jump off
across
to the other. Yeah, jump across.
I mean,
Climb across, or whoever
does have Step of the Wind.
Yeah.
So she can just sail over the wind.
I swear one of my next upgrades to my shell is going to be that gliding thing. And I will find some way to BS actual flight.
You could just be a sugar glider.
I like that. I don't know what that is, but that sounds adorable.
It is a cute name. You don't really need to know what it is, do you? It does sound cute.
And it glides.
This is my new EK name.
Sugar Glider.
Sugar Glider.
That's such a My Hero Academia hero name. Sugar Glider is definitely more MHA.
It also misleads my enemies. It's like, oh, Sugar Glider unleashes the powers of decay upon you.
Kicks you in the face.
It's a koala. It's not a sugar glider. It's a koala.
No, I'm not gonna finish that. You tie one side off. You've got your climbing gear. That's fine. Are you guys then tying the rope around, like Adhera? You tying it around your waist and trying to jump across? Is that the?
Yeah. I will spend a key point for jump of the wind. I think that will.
Step of the wind. Jump of the wind, though. I like.
Jump of the wind.
Adhera. How do I put this? Directly ahead of you is where like most of the whirring gears are. It is also the closest point to you. If you jump across there,
I have an interjection point.
Yep.
I have the climbing gear that will pull you along. If we give that to her, if she fucks up, can she use that to zip up the rope before getting mangled?
So, like, if she sees she's flying towards a rotating gear with no way, she presses the button and it pulls her back along the rope. Is that the...
Yeah, that's what I'm asking if we can do, just in case, because I would hate to, throw someone in... Yeah, I would hate to throw someone into the gears.
I will say what I like better is if you guys are holding onto the rope on this side, and if you see her on a bad path, you can pull the trigger to pull her back.
Fair enough.
That makes more sense than being on the other side,
okay.
I think. Okay, so Uther, you've got that on that side. So, Adhera, the closest point to you, the easiest jump, puts you in risk if you stumble or otherwise to hurt yourself on the gears. Now, obviously, you do have perhaps an out. Uther could save you from such a problem, and then you'd still have to try again. That's option.
What's next option?
Option 2, up and to the left-hand side, there is a raised platform that looks like it may at one point have been like an observation balcony that people could have stood on to look out across the city and stuff like that. That is a jump that requires you to go up diagonally about 15 feet. So this is a much more, you need to put more force into the jump. It's at a slightly odd angle, which does give you more of a run up. The other option is 30 foot down from you and across. You'd be jumping and dropping quite a bit. Obviously, that might not be as much of a problem for you as others, and once you've got the rope in place, you can secure it off. But that is option 3, going down and forwards, and that leads to it looks like, like a fire escape stairwell. It's just this like metal tower that goes in a big circle. Mm-hmm. It's like that. Looking at it, Adhera, that is the more unstable piece of masonry and construction of all of it. It doesn't look like it's ready to collapse, Adhera. It's just not made of stone like everything else. It's anchored into stone, but it's metal, and therefore it could be more at risk. Those are the 3 sort of launch points that or destinations you've got, Adhera.
Now, how does jump work? Because if I dash and use step of the wind, I become a ridiculous amount.
Jump rules.
I think this is more about narrative permission than anything.
I think here it is an athletics check and an acrobatics check. Athletics determines your jump. Acrobatics will be how you land. Acrobatics for the gear wheel will determine, if you slip and you catch a finger in gears, and that's that.
I I don't think I can do the gear jump because I have a -1 to athletics.
Well, you because of your step of the wind, you will be adding your casting modifier to the jump roll that you make. So your athletics will be boosted by, I think, your charisma is your casting in particular. I can't remember if it's charisma or wisdom.
It is
charisma. So you will get your charisma modifier on top, and you will have advantage on the roll as well. Obviously,
I think
acrobatics for jumping up actually won't matter as much. It's more about the athletics roll on that one, and acrobatics for going down will be whether some section of the thing that you jump to collapses or not. That like how you land in terms of distributing your weight more than anything, Atira.
And if we get it set up, there's much less danger for the following members to trigger it collapsing.
Once you've got it tied off and they can move across and slowly set themselves down, there's no real risk after that point, Atira. It's mostly you that is jumping a 40-foot gap with a rope tied to you above a boiling lake of lava.
Well, when you say it like that, it doesn't sound bad at all.
I think she's going to go for option 3.
You want to go down?
Yes.
Okay. Give me...
Because I can also use the feature, it's like slow fall, I believe.
Give me an athletics check with advantage, and we're going to add your charisma modifier afterwards for the jump. 17. And what's your charisma mod?
21.
Cool. 21 in total. Adhira, you position yourself near the end. What does Step of the Wind look like in this case? How does Terminus help either propel you or guide you through the air as you go?
She runs, and her shell, which manifests as that dark green, eldritch looking cloak, gains that sort of glowing surge and just sort of kind of flares out a bit. And that gives her a boost.
And is it like flares out, pushes off, so like you get like a spring boost of momentum? Or is it more like a Mothwing cloak, like double jump style thing, where like in the middle it sort of gives like a burst of air that lets you go a little further?
I think Mothwing is probably a better term for it.
Okay.
Something alive, something living.
Yeah, a fabric of green energy that mimics this sort of like moss cape that just catches enough air, and it's like that effect of when someone opens a parachute, it looks like they shoot up, but instead it's more like you get the extra hang time as your descent slows. You make it across. Give me an acrobatics check. 8. And also, what does your slow fall reduce falling damage by?
Let me look. Where are you? To reduce any falling damage you take by an amount equal to 5 times your monk levels, so
you can negate up to 20 full damage. Okay, here's what I'll say. On an 8 acrobatics, the structure was weaker than it looked at a distance here. As you're getting close, you can see that the way it's bolted into the wall, it's already cracked and loosened a little bit around some of the pinpoints. You can tell already that when you hit this, the section that your feet lands on is going to crumble. The section above looks sturdier. So, you have a choice. You can either land, and you'll have to be rescued by Uther, but you can use your slow fall to take no damage, or you can put your hands up and you can, like Gordon Freeman, grab hold of the ladder at the last second. All of the momentum transfers into your arms and shoulders. You will take full damage, but you will be on the other side and able to tie off the rope from there.
I think that's the best option we got.
Okay. You take 1d6 per 10 feet. Take 9 full damage. You guys watch as Adhira goes across, her feet touch the platform. It slips out from underneath her. Her arms go up. she grabs hold. She takes the full momentum in her shoulders. You hear something dislocate from across. Like one shoulder pops. And Adhira, one side of your body sort of hangs lower than the other one. Which shoulder would you like to dislocate? Your right or your left?
Left.
Okay. Left side slips down, and you're dangling pretty much by one hand, Adhira. Like, your fingers are closed around on the left-hand side, but you're not putting any strength through that shoulder of yours. It's mostly just like, almost sort of like, at least you're not holding the weight of that arm, Adhira.
Yeah.
However, you are able to pull yourself up by one arm fine, Adhira. You have all the strength of your shell, all the strength of your spirit flowing through the vessel. You manage to get yourself up. Your shoulder is still dislocated, but you have the rope tied around your waist and you are across.
Gets up, pulls herself over, and rolling onto her back, just sort of lays there for a bit before giving the others like a thumbs up, lifting her hand up. She just lays there.
Now we gotta put her back
Right.
together.
You tying the rope off on one of the anchoring points, Adhira, or on like one of the bars higher up of the stairwell? Where do you want to tie it off, Adhira?
I think one of the anchor points would be better.
Yeah, I agree. You tie it off on the anchor point. The rest of the group is able to climb across pretty much at their leisure. Obviously, it's not comfortable, but it's safe.
Winces and
That
sort of
looks
cradles her arm.
that looks rough.
It hurts like hell.
Oh, we're not going to go a day without me needing this med kit, are we?
Good thing we got it.
Gonna relocate your
It's
shoulder.
looking
bar.
really painful.
Good thing my weapon is one-handed and I can spawn 4 extra arms.
Clara, was you saying that you proposing to relocate her shoulder, or?
Well, I can.
Yeah.
If you particularly want, I could try.
I've never had this dislocated. How hard is this gonna hurt?
I would rate it somewhere between I never want to do this ever and oh my god, I think I'm going to die.
What's
right?
the harm of leaving it as it is to heal over time?
That's not how that.
Oh,
It will still hurt, probably worse, and you won't be able to use it properly. You pick.
fine, get it over with.
At least give her something to bite down on.
Give me your hand.
Caliban, I knew it! The moment Caliban said that, I knew it here would be like, I'm gonna fucking bite you.
He pulls out his sword, blade first.
Clara, it's up to you. You can give me a medicine check. I'll say the DC is 13, or you can use a charge of the medical care and just succeed. It's up to you.
I'm gonna... I probably shouldn't because the dice have been mean to me, but like Clara is confident in her own abilities.
Do you need somebody to help? Okay.
Wow.
Right.
Adhira, it really hurts. Clara, you reset the shoulder fine. Adhira, it is, even with Clara's like, oh, this is gonna hurt like you want to die, you are not prepared for just how true that was. And you do suddenly feel quite faint, Adhira, as you don't pass out, but there's like that stomach churning dizziness that you're sweating more than even the heat. You do feel out of sorts for a little bit, Adhira will say.
Just writhing on the ground. Like a little sandworm. But yeah, no, she's in a tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, Adhira will, for a little bit, not be able to assist too much. You can see this stairwell leads further up, you can see it does actually lead into the rocky cavern above. So maybe there's something up in the ceiling. Alternatively, you could the vents the air goes through is pretty big enough to walk. So you could walk the inside of an air vent towards the city, or along the top of it. Or there is the rock hopping, as precarious as the stonework looks, however.
I mean, none of these paths look like they would really directly lead to the crevice where I have seen the bloodspurts.
So the rock hopping actually does lead straight to that section. The air vents lead to... If you think of this area as like a big clock face, it's 12 o'clock north where the encampment is. All of the air vents lead to offset like 45 degrees. So it leads to northeast, southeast, so on and so forth. So it leads to like a different corner of the circle. Where the ceiling leads, you've got no idea. It just sort of disappears up there and you can't see.
I mean, how... I failed to build up a proper mental image of like the rock cropping. For me, that's like something like, I don't know, if we're a platformer, it's like something we need to jump to, but that we can manageably jump to, and that we jump again onto to get onto the...
Yeah, if you think, like, there was a huge bridge with a series of pillars that support it. The only thing that's left is those support pillars. So all of the bridge sections between them have disappeared. And you're right, if it was a platformer, each of the jumps is individually somewhat comfortable, but if misjudged, you could obviously go either side.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, to me, that one looks like the obvious choice, given that it leads to where Kathy at least was to the something between 2 and 5 days ago.
Obviously, David, that is the most direct route. If it were to break or someone is to mistime it, directly below is lava. That's
that fucks us up.
Not a fun thing to land in.
So, and the air vent route has a chance of leading there somehow.
No, the events are offset in like the larger events that you could walk through are offset slightly. It would get you pretty close, like the same-ish region, but it's not like a direct path like the rock hopping is.
But the air vents at least would be safe and not like flirting with getting cooked.
Looking at them from a distance, Dafer, the way they're pinned in along the ceiling of the cavern is much more protected from the heat in the environment here. It's not like it's the same as the stairwell you were on before, right? The lower section dropped, but this bit that's further away from the heat of the magma is still more intact. With the vents being that far up, they look safe, secure, and still intact.
Anyone have any strong opinions?
I say vent.
In that case, given apparently other than it here, nobody has too much of an opinion. I mean, Adhira is also somewhat hurt, so...
I'm kind of weighing the risks of both.
Yeah, I feel you.
See, in my brain, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, we could split the difference."
Yeah.
But then I know, that sounds right there. That. Piece of shit.
I mean, we don't know for sure that she's in there, or that path there leads directly to her. So getting close to that, I feel like, is good enough. Maybe. And we do have a shaped charge to like blow through a wall if it gets in the way.
It's just that, just looking at it and be like, oh yeah, the risk is falling into lava. It's like, I don't want to risk it with my arm.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's perfectly fine.
So...
Yeah, I think Dafer is also for the event. Like I don't think he'd be the risk like life risking type that this would entail.
You guys
not safe enough.
Head up the tower, heading all the way to the top, near enough to like where the entrance would go through the sides, but peeling off at that point and heading into the large like main vent tunnels, basically. You have like two choices, because I assume you want to head near enough to this 12 o'clock position. So you've got something that gets you left of that and something that gets you right of that. Those are the two options. If you want to see what maybe it leads to, you can give me a perception check or any other kind of check that you'd like to make. Obviously you can try and tell some more if you would like. Otherwise it's more of a 50-50. Which do you want to take?
Can I try to mentally just map this out from like all the perspective of the event system that I've seen, given the perspective that I right now have, which I assume would give me a better overview than any of the others before.
Yeah. Give me
any chance I can like mentally map this out in my head?
You can give me a intelligence-based survival check. So make a survival check, but we're gonna add your instead of your wisdom.
While he's doing
that's
that,
just a straight up in check.
Okay.
Perceive the area, or
you want to
investigate from?
Do you want to look at the area you are in, or would you like to look at the areas you could go to?
Areas we could go to.
Perception check, please. 15. And a perception check. 14. Dafer. Sitting there and thinking. It looks to you like the vents on the right-hand side go into the city at a higher point than the ones on the left. So you think, despite the fact that they are sort of equally placed left and right of the point you want to go to, the left side actually gets you lower and closer to the point where the encampment was. So you can sort of tell that immediately. On a 15, what you can also tell is the decorations on the left-hand side of the city, so the one that would get you closer, are more ornate. It seems like that might be either a more important, a older, a richer part of the city, which could mean it is more defended. It might also be more interesting to Kathy, who, in the sense you would get of her, having read all of the notes you've got, Dafer, if she thought she was going to perish, it is very believable to you that she would explore the city and leave notes for someone to find, so that if she did die down here, it maybe wouldn't be for nothing. So that does stick out to you, I would say. Uther, on a 14, looking out across the city, a few things you notice from this way better position. You can see where Kathy must have first come into the city, down on like the 3 o'clock position on the city circle. There is a grand gateway that is, if not for the ocular sort of runes that you have, it would be blocked by a lot of toxic fumes. But you can see that there is this huge gateway that has a break in it. And you can see a wall of water on the other side. There's water that wants to come through into the chamber, but the door is, by some form of enchantment, keeping it back. But there is a crack in it that someone could squeeze through. You also see that there was a conflict there. You see that Kathy must have engaged several maybe constructs, maybe more of those bone type constructs that you fought, or maybe more like stone constructs. It's very difficult to see on a 14 from this distance. So that's what you can see down at the 3 o'clock position. On the vents that head higher, so on the right hand side when you're looking across, you see that looks to be like a heavily industrialized section of the city. A lot of the city is industrial, it's using the magma, but you can see that might be like a huge forge type thing on the right hand side, with them extracting raw materials, like cooling the magma off, breaking it apart, taking small pieces of metal out of it to be used in forging, or taking out any gems or other things. They're like sifting the lava, the magma, in order to extract resources from it on the right hand side. On the left hand side, it seems more residential to you. You can see from a distance there are 2 towers with what first looks like crystal glowing at the top of it, but actually it's more like the electricity released by ambaric shards. There's like sparking, almost like Tesla towers over there. And as occasionally they zap lightning onto different rods, and briefly sections of the residential district come to life, but only for seconds. You see the lights turn on in some of the buildings, and it's sporadic, flashing left and right.
Man, the power grids went to shit here. Okay, so I have 2 questions actually.
Yeah.
One of which is our current location and our distance from where her camp was, and any potential movement she may have done since.
So from the tower to the point you were going, it's probably over 1,000 feet, if that's specifically what you're asking. It would be better to wait until you're in the city proper to pop such a spell, I think, Uther, you would think.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Yeah. I know I specified like one of her journals. I have another more iffy question, which is, a shell is an item.
Yes,
correct?
It is. Yeah. I would say once it's been treated and properly done, like used in that sense, it would be an item.
So if you locate object a shell, it would point toward other shells, yes?
Now, I just need to double check locate object. Does it locate all objects of a specific kind, or does it locate the nearest singular?
Posted the text up.
Give me 1 second.
Describe the name of familiar to you.
The spell locates the nearest object of a particular kind, so it's just going to ping off one of us.
I think, sadly, it would pick up one of your party members. Because you could say something like my shell, but it would pick up a party member.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to see if we can narrow it down to, like, something we know
it's gonna be
she
on
would
her.
have on her.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, that one won't work.
What's her weapon? Oh, it's, SMGs.
Yeah, dual machine pistols, yeah.
Well, I no longer have a pistol.
You left your pistol with the Grawl, yeah. Unfortunately, that won't work.
Well, no, but I mean, I am familiar with the idea of a pistol.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. You could locate object, one of those weapons, yeah.
So now it's not as likely to false ping.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
That would work.
Okay, I wanted to fish for information real quick.
No, that works.
I will relay the one path is more industrial, the other path is more residential, and we probably don't want to be too close to the arcing tower.
Now, Sam, slightly still winded from pain, bit lightheaded. How expensive do the things in this residential district look? Like, how promising does it look to
Give
a
me
thief like me?
Give me a survival check at disadvantage, because of the pain, and then we'll call ourselves even. This disadvantage will be you kind of clearing your head as you slip through the pain into the wonders of greed. 9.
9.
All you can say is, Uther is bang on the money that is a wealthy area. You've got no idea how these people handled wealth, but there is something in you that is like, oh yeah, that's where the good marks would be. Like, as you're looking across the city at it.
I'm going to start formulating a plan. Quietly to myself.
But you do still have 2 paths ahead of you. One that heads to the right one to the right to the higher up industrial district, which takes you slightly further away from the encampment that you've seen. And then there is the left path that takes you to the residential district, which is a little bit closer to the encampment, but it also brings you near the arcing towers, and is that sort of more expensive location of the city, as it were. That's your choices. I assume Matira...
I'd say the...
I was going to say, I assume Matira, you would vote for the rich people district.
Yes, but like she would wait until someone else has already said it.
Yeah, gotcha.
I mean, from all I gather... actually, one second. I wanted to do this originally, but then other people had their scenes. I would double check my estimation of Kathy's character with the person that I know knows people, which is Clara. So, like,
Hi.
get her to, like, also see if that one makes sense to her, and if thus the residential district might be a better shot or not.
Insight check, Clara, on Kathy and her inclinations.
I shall give it my level best.
15. Looking at the 2 options, Dafer's initial instinct of like, it is more, it looks more culturally significant, is probably on the money. But actually there's something else about the district that draws her eye, and it's that electrical tower that seems to light up the buildings occasionally. You think it's that she would head to, as it is a piece of old technology that mirrors something that is just popping up in the city that, like, has everyone's attention, right? The Ambaric shards. That, you think, would probably draw Kathy over everything else.
I shall convey this information.
Okay. So, I say we try to... We go for the vents on the left-hand side towards the sparkling towers over there. Sparking towers, not sparkling towers.
Both. Yeah? Is that the direction you guys will go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Climbing into the ventilation sort of shaft, you start moving along. There is the most pleasant breeze of flowing air as you're walking along it after the heat of the magma chamber. Even though it is still warm air, just the very nature of it blowing across you sort of relieves some of the temperature. You can see where there are smaller tunnels that sort of like split off that are big enough that you could get an arm through, that probably brings airflow to an area just to keep a current, to keep fumes away from the city. but you keep following the main ventilation shaft, which is taking you to this residential district. It's about a 10 to 15 minute walk, but it does happen without real incident. As you come to the end of ventilation chamber, there's like a access door that maybe like an engineer might use to check the inside of the tunnel or something like that. You do notice it is locked, and there is a lock, and it is locked, is probably the better way of saying it. So just pressing on the door doesn't seem to open it. All the other exits are like tiny little tubules.
How sturdy does the lock look? Just
Dave,
general.
You think you could probably break it with a fist? It would make a noise, but you could punch through it for sure.
Shall we try to just unlock it first?
I'm just checking my options.
Okay. I respect your options. I'm just...
I've heard legends.
We have tools for this.
I've heard legends of a very often angry person that apparently used an axe as a lockpick, very successfully so.
Yeah, he's rather relentless with it. Is someone gonna try and picklock the
fucking
door?
Saturday morning cartoon villain laugh.
I can thieves tools. Adhere can thieves tools. We can both thieves tools.
I'd say Uther.
I believe one of you has a broken lockpick.
Uther. Actually, I don't remember whose lockpick is broken. I think it might be Adhera's.
Oh, it's mine,
It's
and I didn't even
Adhera's,
think
yeah.
about getting it fixed.
Adhera with the dislocated shoulder, well, the recently fixed dislocated shoulder, and the broken pick. I think Uther, you got this one. 21.
Fuck yeah, I do.
He does.
You are not used to how they do the locks here, Uther. Is you like kneel down and you're like, all right, time to pick this thing. You look inside, no pins, and you're like, taking a look inside, it's not that there's no pins. Their pins are not in the top. They are offset in two different locations. You have to use like a set of tweezers to pick two sides at once. It takes you about a minute purely to sort of get the vibe of it. Eventually you sort of get a feeling for it and eventually get it to click. It twists and rotates. The door sort of hung well on its hinge drifts open by itself. In front of you is an ornate city street. Beautiful flat stones sort of carved in. It's sooty. The city is covered in sort of like sections of volcanic soot and other things like that probably in its heyday were wiped clean or like, you know, scrubbed off, but such...
Cleaned regularly.
Yeah, it was cleaned regularly. Maintenance has gone to the wayside because you see not a living soul in sight. It is deserted. Most of the light in this area comes from rivers of magma that flow through lower sections of the city, where there are openings that lets the glow of that come up. You do see that there are odd glass sort of beams. Beams as in like an I-beam, like a steel beam, that has a metal rod connected to it that seems to want a shock from these Tesla towers. And there are quite a few of them dotted around. It genuinely is like some kind of fancy Minecraft build. That is a good way of putting it. Some of the structures have runes carved into them. They are runes that some of you would recognize. They are just strengthening runes, heat resistance, things to keep this place from being destroyed by the passage of time and the environment it is in. The city's laid out not in like an easy grid as you're looking around as well. It's topographically up and down, and sometimes sections of the city are lower down with the magma rivers. Sometimes they're higher up with these like Tesla tower things dominating the section of that area. The roofs are painted colors, but they're starting to fleck. There is quite a bit of wealth on display here, where you can see like some of the windows are lined with gold. Like it's literally like outlined in gold in certain areas. Yeah, it's actually, now you're here, now there's not soot clouds between you. It's a beautiful city.
I think Dafer would like on a cognitive level recognize, oh wow, this is likely very impressive, but also mission objective.
Yeah.
Is there any sensibly seeming path towards the sparking towers?
Yeah, so the one that's sparking the most, there's like a dual set of them, but one of them is the one that's really sparking. The other one is mostly inactive. Looking for a path there. Give me a perception check, Dafer.
I'd also like to be looking out for get fellow constructs or the like that we've seen before. Perception check, you say?
Yes. 8. Because of the weird topography, Dafer, you can't see like an obvious, oh, this is the main road, it's going to take me there. You can see paths from where you're stood that lead in that direction, but they very quickly come into sets of stairs or corners or other things. You just need to start moving to sort of hopefully pick a way through the maze, if that were the way to go about it, Dafer. At least from where you're stood in the street. You can't see any better.
Okay. I think at this point I'd need to guess which path makes the most sense to get there. I'm not entirely sure. Dafer says out loud to the group.
Well,
I mean, unless you guys want me to just pick a path at random, I'm happy to take suggestions.
No, let's not do that. Anything that we can climb really easy, real quick?
You can climb on top of a building if you wanted.
Yeah, can I pop up in perception?
Yeah,
Someone pop up in
easy
perception?
enough. Give me a perception check with advantage if you want to get up on top of a roof. Two things draw your attention. One, ahead of you, it dips down, so there's the staircase I mentioned directly ahead, where there's the glow from the magma river. There is about the size of two husky dogs side by side, a large bronze automaton spider. No, more like a scorpion, but the stinger is at the front. So it's like a scorpion, but the stinger's at the front of it. It has dipped the stinger down into the lava, and it has the impression of like drinking it or feeding somehow. Like it looks like it's recharging, maybe. The other thing you notice is there are, in fact, these Gadfellow automatons. They are set into different sections of, if you think like there's a road, there are like walls that are more natural than cut and carved, and there are these big bone constructs there set into the walls, although they seem to be inert for now.
I'm just going to warn everyone about the constructs I'm seeing. And try to guide them towards paths that are not going to be directly gotten by them.
Yeah, you want to pick out a path that takes you in the direction you want to go, but steers you away from these constructs. Yeah. Give me a survival check with advantage, Uther.
Shit.
15.
Ooh.
You pick out a path from your vantage point where you can't see anything that sort of draws your draws your attention as being dangerous. Did you want to pop your locate object spell at this point, Uther, as well? Or
yeah, probably. It lasts for 10 minutes, so we got a little bit of wiggle room with it.
I want you to give me an investigation check with advantage as well.
Investigation, public roll, advantage.
11.
Fuck.
Spell pops up. Nothing immediately hits you within. Is it 1,000 foot from you, or is it 500 foot in one direction and 500 foot in the other direction?
I think it's just
Yeah, well, it's 1,000 foot radius. Yeah. Okay. Nothing immediately pops up within 1,000 foot radius.
All right.
And it's the pistols that you're tracking. Yeah. Okay. You pick your way through. You start moving around. Adhera, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oof. Trying to resist my own greed. 7.
You guys are making your way along, pass by a series of different buildings. There is one building that you can see that you're gonna pass by, Adhera, and you're walking towards it. Glass window front. This is definitely a store in the residential area. It's a jewelry store. You can see that there are necklaces made of gold and silver with gems extracted from the magma down here. They're just like up on display. And Adhera, as you're looking around, you're getting a weird sense now, right? Like, it's one thing that this city is abandoned and in disrepair. It's another thing that, like, the city was abandoned with everything still...
No looting.
No looting. There's no signs of chaos. It's not like the city went to hell and sort of... It's almost like they all just vanished one day.
Crazy thought. You say went to hell. I think there's a sort of incredulous thought that goes through her. What if the rapture happened? Like, what if the goddess took these people with her?
It seems a little bit strange that they would, well, disappear when the other ones got turned into the... I was going to call them jelly, but they're not really.
I don't know. That's...
Anyway, she's saying this as she's like examining the window and the door, like door unlocked.
The door's unlocked.
Stop.
It's a little stiff, Adhera, but you feel some give as you just casually lean your way against it.
I do so slowly. Like, if I get the sense that something's about to creak or fall over, I'm spontaneous casting silence.
You can give me a perception check. Here, it's not like the door's booby-trapped, but it's got one of those bells that lets someone know someone's coming to the shop, right? That's the one thing you can see. There's like a little ding-a-ling bell up there that if you open the door all the way up, it will jingle. Light.
I cast silence.
Okay. Silence. You can open the door at your leisure.
I open it and I move into this, I guess it's even more surreal now that there's no noise.
Yeah, it's deathly silent as you step in. There's no, like, heavy layer of dust either. There's no people to make dust. No soot has gotten in through a gap. It's sterile clean, almost, in there. Like the store was cleaned this morning, once you've gone inside. In fact, fresh air almost leaves the store as, like, ventilated air was being pocketed in here, not mixing with the magma rivers outside. It's fresher in here than it was out there. There are many pieces of jewelry on display. You can see the counter, you can see a back door, there's a set of stairs that head up.
God, I'm feeling it. This is why I don't want to play a rogue. It's gonna be too much to resist. I will start taking pieces. A few of them worn, a few others tucked away. In my mind as the character and as a player, I think she's already planning to like show them off and be like, oh, we found these, and know she has to turn some of them in, which is why she's creating like a secondary little dump of these are the jewelries I can tell people about.
You want to take enough that you give some to the museum, and they won't wonder about a single thing that you sort of like keep for yourself. Is that the idea, Atira? Is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you guys definitely see Atira cast a spell and go into this jewelry store and start kidding the candy shopping right now. Atira, here's my question. Is your focus stuff you like the look of, stuff that looks expensive, a variety, or is it pure chaos? Are you just taking the things that are closest to you?
I think it's the stuff that's her colors and like what she likes to look of, and the stuff that she has never sort of seen before, like stuff that would be uniquely a design of this city's culture.
So it's like silver and emeralds is sort of more the you thing. Is that the
silver, gold, and emeralds now.
Silver, gold, and emeralds, and something here. Give me 3 D100 rolls.
I love stealing.
Is it stealing, I guess, is my first question, but we'll get to
It
that.
depends on the fate of people.
61.
Come on, 100.
Oh, okay. 89. You get a beautiful bracelet that is silver, emerald set all the way around. Like a full 360, with like little spaces in between, and you recognize the carvings along, like there's like intricate lines that connect all of this that go all the way around the bracelet that match some of the detailing in the city. It seems like a like, it's not the Celtic knot, but it's like their version of this Celtic knot. It looks like 3 interlinked chain sections, but the middle section is much chunkier and bigger. So it's like 2 smaller chains connected to a bigger central chain. And that goes all the way around. The second piece is a very big, very gaudy gold necklace. Like huge, thick, almost like, when those
Flavor Flav.
No, well, I was gonna say more like those mayoral medallions that sometimes mayors have. These like big, heavy set pieces of jewelry. It's like that, and the pendant is. Did you ever watch Robot Wars? There was a robot called
Hell yeah.
There was a robot called Hypnodisc. There's this big disc on it with like almost like the
I'm looking at it.
It's like the hypnotism swirl, right? Like this like swirl on it. Instead of it being like black and white, it's gold and emerald, and it's like a thin beaten sheet of emerald in this swirling pattern that is in the middle. On a 31, what you see that you've never kind of seen before. It's a geode, so it's like a rocky outcropping, and then inside there are gem structures of 4, 5, 6 different kinds of gems in crystalline patterns. So it's like a cracked egg, halved, and you can see the natural formation of all of these beautiful gems in harmony with one another, and that is set in a ring that sort of sits on your finger, and it has all these like different crystals in a tiny little geode that shows off all these different crystals living in harmony.
Absolutely, just putting the stuff on, and then once she is satisfied with her pillage and plunder, walks out, and the group just sees her walk in, gone for a second, walk out
She-
covered in jewelry.
She's gone for 3 rounds, 18 seconds. Adhira goes in, casts spell, takes 3 pieces of jewelry, walks out, 18 seconds flat, door closes behind her.
Have you ever heard the phrase "less is more"?
No.
This outfit needs it.
I'm going to ignore that through the pain of my arm.
Please don't ignore
It's-
that. That's
it's
the whole point of me saying it.
It's fine. She's just taking from a ruin. It's like not like anyone was using it, and she.
See, that's
But-
the thing. You say ruin, but inside it feels like fresh air. There's no dust, there's no nothing.
I am willing to contemplate that once we're out of here. Before that, until then, like any moment we spend here on the open streets is one where we might have to encounter something.
Yeah, I'm going to be clambering up another rooftop to try to do another automaton check.
Yeah, give me another perception check advantage.
Advantage. I perceive all of the fucking things.
Jesus.
You see a section of the city ahead. There's like one section between you and the next section, which is where the tower is. So you've come 1/3 of the distance between you and the tower. At which point, at the very edge of your vision, where there's like some light from the lava, you see Kathy. Only ever been described to you before. There's like a shock of purple hair which stands out next to like everything else down here. And you see she is holding her side, leaning up against a piece of stonework, and then she turns over her head, turns over her shoulder, turns her head to the right, almost looking in your direction, but you don't think she's actually like looking at you. She's like listening for something.
Yeah.
At which point she very hurriedly slips between 2 like large pillars or columns. It's difficult for you to see from where you are, and then you see something big. It's hard to tell exactly how many appendages it has, but it's more than normal. And the outline
Millipede construct.
and the outline is so confusing. It is both humanoid and not, and you're only really catching it with like the light behind it, so you're getting like a dark outline of everything. It is hulking, and it is confusing to look at, and it does seem to be looking for Kathy.
I am going to relay this information and start moving.
Okay. 1 second before we do this. We best set up some kind of some kind of retreat point. Sam,
Yes.
is there, ideally not in a building, is there some way to or I would ask Uther if he can map out a path from us to Kathy, and along the way some kind of like retreat point where it would be worthwhile to set up a trap of having something collapse there that could block the way once we are past it. Ideally not buildings.
So, either Uther or someone else, because Uther obviously sees the path. As you're moving along, someone, whoever he wants to, can give me a survival check for like a choke point or something like that. That seems to be sort of what you're getting at. So yeah, it could be Uther, it could be anyone else can give me a survival check along the way.
My survival is shit. If someone has a survival proficiency, please.
That's me, I think.
Yeah, Clark.
I don't suppose anyone else actually does. Cool.
No,
It does seem to be.
I do
Amazing.
not,
Oh
not
no,
so
Clark.
good.
I cannot roll a number above like 7.
This is a bit rough. Looking around, Clara, the problem you have is this is like the city center now, almost. All the streets are much wider here. It's like shopping streets and things like that, right? What I will say, Clara, is from the description Uther had, it was like big and hulking. There are some narrow stairwells. It might help to just like get up as you're retreating, basically, as it might have trouble following you up narrow stairs. That's the one thing you would probably be able to see, Clara. But yeah, no good place for a rune, unfortunately, Dayfer, as you're moving.
Not even thinking rune. I'm thinking just placing the shape charge there, just blowing that up.
Yeah, still, same.
How big is the creature?
Yeah.
Huge. Mechanically, it is huge. It takes up three across and 3 up squares.
I'm gonna be real. I'm thinking just Shadow of Colossus on the thing's back and place the shape charge there.
Yes, yes. Sorry, that was triggered
that
something
would
in me.
require a level of getting close and intimate with it that I'm not into. Not my king.
What is your focus as well, Uther? Getting to where Kathy is as quickly as possible, or are you still trying to avoid stuff along the way?
Oh boy. And I can't do both.
No, you'd have to pick one. If you roll really well for whatever role I ask you to do, both will happen. We'll put it that way, but you'd have to pick one.
Yeah. I think knowing that she's hurt and knowing that she's being hunted, I personally am just moving like rooftop, just like if I'm starting to outpace the party, oops. kind of deal, you know?
Here's what I'll say. Everyone can give me their choice of roles between athletics, acrobatics, and perception. Athletics and acrobatics will be you are trying to get there as quickly as you can. Perception is looking out for problems along the way.
I'll be getting there as quick as I can.
Acrobatics. And if there's any resource you want to spend, like a spell you want to cast, or anything else along the way that would help you with it, obviously, I might let you just succeed or some other benefit.
I don't have.
I have
anything
the
here.
advantage of cunning actions.
Cunning actions, great. Yeah, you can have your athletics or acrobatics at advantage, Uther.
The thing is, like,
Oh.
I can get Kathy pretty much
Fuck.
back into the fight. I just warding bond her and give her like all the healing and healing potions.
This is
That gives her like at least 20-30 more functional HP to work with. But after that,
I can step up the wind again.
Yeah, you can have it with advantage if you would like.
14. Jesus. I'm still weighed down by pain.
And Jules.
Oh, yes.
Gold.
Aptly put, good sir.
Gold is heavy. Unlike your conscience.
I think Dafer is like, even though that's not his best role, that would be running or sprinting, but I think he'd be the cautious type, looking out for problems along the way. We need to get there in one piece, and able to ideally like dodge the thing if possible.
So, perception check from Dafer, yeah?
Yeah, I guess. I see colors.
Caliban and Clara, you've got perception, athletics, or acrobatics. Those were the 3. Unless, of course, you've got something else you think you can do in order to assist in chasing this down.
No, I'll take my chances with the perception check.
Go for it.
I'll take athletics.
Okay.
I'm not athletics.
Finally.
There we go. 24.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
25. I think, 14 is your lowest. I guess, Atira, you really are, like, clinking and clanging as you run. Gems just, like, the big necklace, like, flapping back and forth.
It's crazy how much an arm helps stabilize you.
It's true, you can't...
She's so used to... Yeah, she's so used to sticking her arms out.
So...
Good job, everyone.
I'm going to move you to another map. And I'm going to sort of explain what's going on here.
Secret map.
Oh my god.
You guys are coming from the southern end of the map.
I'm in the pixel dimension.
It will take a second. It's a pretty high fidelity map.
Oh my.
Here, if you rolled athletics or acrobatics and your name is not Atira, you can be somewhere on this balcony sort of area here.
Wow. Oh, same place.
Atira, I'm afraid you'll have to be a little bit back, so like somewhere around here-ish.
Are we also considering that my movement speed is like 100 feet around?
I think that you were unable to utilize that full 100 feet. That's sort of what that route.
I think that's fair.
I think that's sort of where we're going.
I think that's fair.
Obviously, if you want to then use it to dash across the battlefield and start your turn and get there before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, then
I'll use the whole movement speed.
Those of you who made perception checks, you can either be on top of one of these buildings, like up here or on the sides here, because you would have been able to pick a path that kind of gave you some high ground, but you wouldn't be as far forward as the others. And what I'll say is, with the successful perception checks that you guys made, you were able to guide the others around some of the Gadfellow patrols. So far, you guys have avoided all other constructs. There's nothing else that's going to be a problem for you guys in the area. Now, you see ahead of you a hulking golem of bone with 2 large spinal columns as whip-like appendages, an arm that appears to be a torso and then it ends in 2 more arms, feet made of rib cages and spinal columns, like big, heavy, dense bones that make up a body of amalgamated individuals. There is a central head at the front, but then there are additional humanoid torsos that seem separately intelligent to the main body. So the individuals on the back that you can see in the artwork there are separate entities able to take their own actions and things. So in the case of Uther mentioning that climbing up onto his back, it would be bringing you in range of these separate individuals. As you get here,
Fascinating.
You see Kathy, you see Vesper. Uther, your locate object does ping up her guns. However, they do not appear to be on her person. One of them is back and to the right of you, like down a side alley from where you are. If you think where Dafer is, there's this alley here. One of her guns is back this way, somewhere around here. The other gun is on this rock here.
Oh, she is. She has been having a time.
She is bleeding profusely from one side. You can tell by the sort of gauntness under the eyes. She is suffering from the fumes. You guys were suffering with from the tunnel. She doesn't have a rebreather like you guys. She doesn't have like cracked lips or anything like that, so maybe she's had water, but you get the feeling she probably hasn't eaten in a while. She's a little bit delirious, and she's more stumbling away from this thing than she is thinking too much right now. And it itself is trying to get hold of her with this pincer arm of it, and it hasn't quite managed to get hold of her yet, but you, considering where you stumble across them, looking over it, it maybe isn't too long before it gets a grab of her, gets hold of her.
I was gonna say maybe get its attention by like taking a shot at it.
What I'll say is, technically you guys have the drop on it, but something is already in occurrence. There's already sort of you're basically joining a fight in progress. So what we'll do is we'll just roll initiative, and unfortunately you guys don't have the surprise round because it's Kathy and it are already sort of in this sort of locked engagement.
Coco Gadget Hypnodisc.
Clara, as fast as Dafer and Caliban combined.
I am the wind.
Do you want me to roll now or in the next round?
No, roll now. No, sorry, Atira, you are still on the map. Sorry, I don't know if it... Is it not visible to you? You should be...
Oh, the little green circle?
Yeah, no, sorry, somewhere around here. I don't know if you can see the arrow I'm pointing at.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around here in this alley.
How did all of the guys get 3? Well, 7. I was counting by my modifier.
Initiative's hell thing.
Ooh, Clara. It is you with the best overview of the situation. It is you who will act first. What do you want to do?
Are we going full throttle?
I feel like, this is how I, as a cautious character, would like to appreciate the scenario. Don't fight. Basically, just distract it from her so she can survive. Then somehow grab her, run away. Like, not fight, flee.
So, draw its attention.
That's how I, as a character, want to play it. If you guys want to go for a full-blown assault, we can do that. I have the resources for it. I'm not, like, too fast. I'm not sure
think we
Well,
need to do it
for
at
now,
least
I
try
don't
to draw it away.
I don't know that those two things are that distinct in the first round. Like, regardless of whether we're going full frontal assault or just trying to draw its attention, we're probably going to have to hit it with quite a lot of shit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, cool. That makes my job easier. So, steady
Yo.
aim. Don't fail an attack roll, please. Thank God. Oh,
21 certainly hits. Clara. Weapon goes flying through the air towards it. It is distracted by you. It is covered with several big, heavy bone armor plates. You see that they could be broken to expose the internals. It does have a damage resistance of 10. So right now you could either deal 5 points of damage or chip one of those plates off of it. It's up to you.
I remember this. I'm going to chip one of the plates off it.
Your weapon slams into one of these big heavy bone plates that splinters before returning to your hand. You have broken one of its damage resistances.
Time to take out the bones, boys.
I
have to stay up here.
Happy on that spot.
Uh-huh.
This is not... I'm trying to remember. I think this might be. No, this is still the same person who does my other tracks. It's Pixel Sound, I think. Specifically, I think this is a reference to the Sephiroth track, which, if you're hearing that, then...
I was gonna say, there was like a little bit of FF7 in this, like, Nibelheim.
I think the start, for sure, hits me with it. The rest of it sort of diverges and plays around a little bit, but the start hits me really heavily as Sephiroth's...
All I'm hearing is the Legend of Zelda, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear that too.
That too, but that's still...
You see Kathy, in sort of this delirious state, looks around, sees one section of this thing break. She's stumbling backwards as it's reaching out towards her. Give me 1 second. This turn, she has more of her faculties than she did a moment ago. Maybe it's the weapon soaring through the air, maybe it's the more friendly humanoid shapes nearby, but something gives her a moment of clarity. You watch as her eyes flash red, like a blood red color, and she pushes forward and attempts to grab hold of one of these big bone plates on its body and try and, like, pull it off. Wait 1 second. She manages to get, like, her arm underneath and use as leverage, which she pulls the plate away, reducing the damage resistance by 1 more. Unfortunately, with her weakened state, even with her shell, it puts her off balance. The creature will have advantage against her on its turn, which it is now. It will, first of all, attempt to grab hold of her. Natural 20 will hit. So that is 12 points of damage. And you watch as the 2 hands dig into her ribs, fingers gripping hold of internal parts of her bone structure, lifts her up, and then it turns its attention back towards you. It will start to move back this way with her in grip. 15 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet to there. That is its turn. Uther.
I'm going to tell Adhira roughly where her other gun, this woman's other gun is. Because I probably can't get there quick enough.
Okay.
If you think it's worth running and getting it to try to arm her.
How this is gonna be like rough terrain building, yeah? Moving up and over.
Climbing is half speed, what I'll say, but the stairs you could get up fine. Climbing is half speed. Getting across the roof is fine. Dropping would be fine. So it's just the climbing that's, as you would call it, rough terrain. The building itself is about 15 foot high, so climbing up would take 30 feet of movement.
Okay. I'll just have to math it when I run through it, but yeah, I can go for those.
As for me, I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to throw one of my throwing darts at it to slow it down.
Yeah.
There is an ally nearby.
Does count. $19 hits. It has 8 damage resistance at the moment, so that's either 9 damage or drop the damage resistance.
I'm going to drop the damage resistance.
Another plate
And-
breaks.
I'm going to come over here and try to get her gun.
It is on a rock. It's narrowly avoided dropping into the magma, but you can see, Uther, it's hot. The rock itself is hot, and that's transferred heat to the gun. You can pick it up, but it's gonna burn you. Not awfully, but it will burn you. I mean, it will cool down. What I'm saying is you can't take it without taking a bit of damage as well.
No, that's fine. I was getting messages.
No, gotcha.
God bless it. What the?
You okay, Uther? Oh, Uther's muted. Give it a couple of seconds. I assume someone's come into the room or something like that, so we'll just...
Okay.
Just chill a second. Uther's sending a message.
Already mapping out my turn, which should be fine.
Grabbing the gun, yeah. 1 second. Take 5 points of fire damage, Uther, as you pick it up.
That's the temp HP, I guess.
It will deal 1d6 damage, then 1d4, and then it will be fully cooled off. So you can pick it up and next turn throw it on the ground if you want, Uther, but for now you've picked it up. Is that your turn, Uther? You good? End of your turn, Uther, it will use a legendary action. And it will use the Amble legendary action, which lets it move half of its speed. Getting a little closer to Uther. Caliban.
Its speed was reduced.
Reduced by 10, so it would be 5 foot back from where it is, which does actually help you out a lot. Caliban.
Matter a lot.
Roach.
Caliban is dead.
Hello?
Your turn in the
Hi.
combat order, my guy.
Okay.
Two things.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, do you think I can get a running start and jump?
Yeah, of course you could get a running start and jump.
Okay.
I assume
because
your plan is to land on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I don't think you need to
do I
roll
need to
for
roll-
it. It's,
Do you want me to roll a check?
I mean, obviously you'll need to roll to stay on top of it if it tries to shake you off or whatever, but you can land on it fine.
Roll
Okay.
to survive.
I'll just put myself right here, or actually right here. That's closer to the thing.
I'll just put you in the actual center of it. There you go.
Okay. And I'll stabby stab.
Uh, 10. As you get on top, one of the bodies on the back grabs hold of your arm and starts, like, fighting with you on top. So there's, like, this skeletal torso with arms on the top that is, like, directly trying to hamper your attack. So it manages to get a grip of you, Caliban.
Oh, wait, fuck off. Damn it.
11 as you swing, a second torso sticking out top, grabs your other hand, and you find yourself in, like, an entrenched, like, like wrenching your hands back out of these skeletal hands as you're fighting with these two individuals that are protruding from the creature.
Oh shit.
Anything else, Caliban?
I think that'll be all.
Dafer. Yeah, at present it has like restraining pincers in her and it's like holding her.
Yeah. First things first, I believe our priority should be to keep her in the fight. I don't think she looks like she could actually stay in the fight for much longer, so let's change that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She is within casting range of Warding Bond.
Yes.
So what Dafer is gonna do is he's gonna like hold out one of his hands roughly in her direction. More and more motes of light start circling around his fingertips before they all like in parallel streak out towards her, and in the center of it is like a small, like a translucent shimmering bond essentially. This is me combining my bonus action with my action. The action is Warding Bond. The bonus action is me pumping 3d6 of healing light into her.
Cool. So you're concentrating on Warding Bond or not? I can never remember.
Warding Bond is not a concentration
spell.
spell.
Not a concentration spell. Cool. So she's just protected and linked to you by Warding Bond, and she's getting healed as well. Very nice.
Yeah. So 3d6 healing. She has +1 AC, +1 to saves. I take half her damage.
Perfect. Let me just
At 13 hit points. So that I believe that more than negates what she took.
Yeah, so that has roughly doubled her health that she had before, and you've effectively doubled her health pool with the resistance as well. So she is doing much better. She's nowhere near full health for an EK of her rank, but you've definitely put a buffer in there, Dafer.
Okay.
Anything else?
Not today. And that's basically my turn.
End of your turn, it's going to use 2 legendary actions. The main head that it has, in the center of what would be like a chest or torso area, where Caliban is sort of featured on the image right now, it cracks and starts to extrude outwards as if on like a long, thin, like a neck stretching out, almost like a tortoise. It stretches
the aliens in her mouth.
Stretches the head up and looks over the sort of balcony to where you are, Dafer, and the jaw unhinges, and you see that there is like a tube, almost like a perfectly. It's like an esophagus, but it seems almost cast in bone. That goes all the way deeper into this creature. And air starts to blow up through it, and it starts making this eerie noise. And at first you're like, oh, it's unsettling, but then it starts to get in your head. I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw, please, Dafer.
Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom. Go. 5. I fail.
Dafer, you are... you have the fear condition. You cannot move closer to it. You're at disadvantage when it crawls while you can see it.
Okay.
Adhira.
I am just gonna move 5, jump up onto that ledge slightly, 10, climb 15 feet.
So that will put you at 40 feet of movement once you reach the top of the roof.
45, 50, action dash, 5, 10, 15, 20, and I can just drop straight down.
You can just drop straight down. You're not going to take any damage. A 15-foot drop can't possibly hurt you, so...
It takes 15 feet of movement, though, correct? Or
No, dropping is... You just drop. It's fine. It doesn't take extra movement.
25. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I will use bonus action Step of the Wind for Spirit Point.
if you're using Step of the Wind, that would have meant that you wouldn't have needed extra movement as well, because you would have been able to jump up rather than climb. So if you use Step of the Wind, it gets you 80... No, it gets you the 50 feet that you get, and I'd also say you can have another 20 on top. So you've got 70 feet of movement left now at Tira.
Okay. 5, 10, 15. Yoink.
Yep, you got it.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I want to move
Fucking
out.
hogs.
Shut up, okay?
This is why I
55,
sent you on the
60.
fence quest. I'm sorry.
65, 70. Okay. We're getting there.
Alright, you have the gun.
That'll be her turn.
Atira, it is a +1 light ranged weapon, and there are several little buttons and doohickeys on it, and you're not really sure what they do. Clara, back to you at the top of the initiative.
Oh boy. What do we think, gang? Just keep plucking away at it?
Unless you have something that can...
Dave is
disarm
terrified.
her.
Like, Dave thinks this can legit kill us now, given the feared condition.
Unfortunately, I have nothing that would possibly help with that.
Yeah. I'm just, like, in-game, Dave is very much for leaving. I think as a character, I'm not... as a player, I'm like, 50-50.
No, I'm gonna gear up for a good shot. I'm gonna try and take a big one.
Okay.
I've been rolling so badly. Why does it matter? Sharpshooter, don't fail me now. Okay, steady aim. Throw the disc. Yep, never mind.
4,
I'll
yeah,
shell up here.
reflects off of one of the heavier plated areas, Clara. Staying on the roof, though.
Yep, I can't move if I steady aim.
Oh, yeah, true. Keep forgetting that. It is her turn. Maybe it's the pain, maybe it's the fact this thing has finally got hands on it. This turn, Kathy is mostly panicking, blindly sort of squirming. She's not thinking too well at present. This thing will step forward. Is going to use a spinal whip against you, Uther. 10 misses
Nope.
you, yeah?
Yep.
And then the guys on the back where Caliban is, they are going to attack Caliban. Also, like, basically, like, grabbing sections of the bone to, like, grab more of these whips and, like, whipping at you, Caliban. 14 and 15, however, both blocked by your AC. Yes, 19, right?
Yes.
19. You managed to protect yourself from both attacks. Uther. If you hold on to the gun this round, it is a d6 of damage you'll take. Obviously, you can drop it and it will, like, cool off on the ground, but... yeah. That's where you're at.
Yeah, I am going to drop it.
Yeah.
Just, like... I'm going to move the X.
Makes sense to me.
So, yeah, the gun's on the ground. Let's see. Bonus action, blowing the dust off of Form of Dread, because I need that temp HP. 4 is better than fucking nothing.
True.
And, I am going to if I specifically request to try to cut the arms it's grabbing her with.
Yeah.
Alright.
You can do that. Go ahead and make your attack.
This is the first time I have drawn my sword in this combat. There is an ally nearby.
Both of these.
Two
are true.
allies nearby, in fact. Fucking do not fail me now.
It's not
17?
It is not a reach weapon, right? So you do need to be one closer, I think. Like 10 foot closer.
Okay. That's fine. I didn't know because of how her positioning is, and she is grabbed by the thing
Yeah,
and all
gotcha,
that.
gotcha. 17 hits exactly, Uther. You just about break through.
Excellent. Roll the
Damage
numbers.
or CR reduction? That's the question.
So, right now it's got 7 damage reduction, so 14 damage would go through to the attachment on the arm. You're not sure how much health the arm itself has that has hold of Kathy, but 14 damage would go through to it.
Then yeah, I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to do this damage.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I'm trying to I want her dislodged. If we can get her dislodged, then we can retreat.
I'm going to give you 2 choices here. There are 2 arms stuck in either side of her. So you can either aim for one of those arms, which will make it easier for her to escape, or you can aim for the actual, like, appendage joint and try and cut it clean off, and then she will... It will lose that attack, it will lose the ability to use it, and she will be able to pull herself free with no issue. What I'll say is the actual full arm obviously has more health.
What do we think, guys?
You got a Barrack Smites? I'm not sure of your loadout.
I don't think I do.
If you equipped any, it's attunement slots. If you didn't do.
Yeah, no, I've not done that.
Okay.
I do have a trick up my sleeve that I can use next round, though.
Up to you in this moment, Uther, whether you want to go for the greedy or, or the little greedy.
I think trying to disable the whole arm.
Okay. What I'll say is
Structure.
you break through, like, it is at half health as your blow lands. Another strike like that will cleave the arm off completely, Uther.
It is slowed by 10 feet because of Slasher. I don't expect this will help, but give me that wisdom save.
Yes, wisdom saving throw. Is this against fear? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it is immune to fear. I will push a button.
Okay,
but,
I figured.
Yeah, cannot feel.
It would have been afraid of me.
Yes,
it would have been afraid.
That would have been interesting, but no, it itself has no sense of self-preservation.
Okay, that's fine.
End your turn, Uther.
Yep.
It is going to legendary action. Uther, give me a strength saving throw.
Oh boy.
Uther.
Strong.
You damage the arm, and as it breaks, you see that inside the external structure of this thing, there are more like skeletal beings within. As you break it, an arm slips out from inside, reaches up. Its fingers, it goes through your skin, but it doesn't break the skin. It's almost like it just goes straight through. You feel it try and grab hold of your skeletal structure, and you feel it yank as if it wants to take a bone from your arm clean out, but you manage to turn your arm and pull away before it can take a section of your skeleton into itself, Uther.
I don't like that.
Caliban.
Stab.
Stab, yes. 15, I'm afraid, doesn't hit. Or are you attacking the individuals on the creature's back? Are you fighting the things that are resisting you up here, or are you trying to stab down?
Like, are you still
I was
helping
stabbing
with
down.
the cleave arm operation?
Stabbing down, unfortunately, it like impacts into one of these big heavy bone plates and reflects off Caliban. Its AC is a little higher than 15.
Fuck.
Hey, so I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
This thing is decidedly not miasmic, yeah?
Decidedly not miasmic, yes.
Miasmic.
Alright, 21.
21 hits. Go ahead and roll. That would obviously deal 0 damage, so do you want to pry off one of the defensive plates? Like, reduce its
Yes,
damage
please.
resistance? Yeah, cool. You manage to lever it underneath. It's down to 6 damage resistance as you pull another plate away.
Hell yeah.
Good there, Caliban.
I'm good with that.
It will legendary action try and whip you with one of these bone spines on your back. 25 versus AC, Caliban.
I'm afraid that hits.
8 slashing damage.
I'm parrying that.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that
let's
one that
see.
needs a roll? I assume you need like a 3 or higher, but...
Yeah, 1 sec. 1d8 plus 4.
You manage to like deflect it, but it wraps around your weapon, and as it pulls back, twists your wrist. You feel like the twinge of your wrist as it yanks your weapon in like an odd direction. You take 3 points.
Well,
of damage.
good thing that only knocks out some of my temporary HP.
Yeah. Jafer, there is that supernatural fear coursing through your veins. It will end at the end of your turn by default, but for now you are afraid.
I think the way I manifest this fear is like this feeds into my fear of dying and failing in the ultimate task that I've set for myself. So what I'm gonna do is, can I set down the shaped charge within a turn in a manner that can be like triggered ideally like remotely by a shot or a ranged attack from either me or anyone in my party?
You want to set up like a retreating trap? Is that the sort of...
Basically, I would set down the shaped charge roughly here, because this seems like the kind of spot the Shamble thingy would need to walk past if we move away, and like in a manner that like we can retreat and don't need to be like where the detonation point is.
Yeah, absolutely. You can set the charge there, Dafer, if you'd like. It would take an action, but you can do it.
Yeah, I would do that, because like me attacking right now is not worth the time, but setting up a trap, that can be worth.
Okay, you set the trap, Dafer, leaning down, putting down like a big lump of this explosive, just designed to blast upwards because it will probably be walking over it when you trigger it. Yeah, done.
Get it here and let's get out! As I like roughly point at the detonation site at my feet.
Get at Hera. Bitch, I am here.
That your turn, Dafer?
Yeah.
Atira, over to you.
What would it be to toss it to her, an action or bonus action? The gun.
So it's a free I would say it's a free action to hand it to her. It would be a bonus action to throw it to her. Whether she catches it or not right now, Atira, because she's not all there, is a different question. Putting it in her hand is safer, I would say, because if you hand something to someone, they instinctively kind of grab it. But yeah, those are sort of...
Got it. Go ham on the monster. 40 feet takes me... Oh, no. 35 feet would take me here on the ledge.
Yeah.
I will bonus action, use my last spirit point to ascend. It needs to make a DC 14 dex save.
DC 14 dex save. Not the best at dex. And it certainly fails, taking 4 damage.
Yes. Oh, ignore that acid.
7 force damage ripples across it. microfractions spread all up the side of the skeletal structure as the equal distribution of force impacts into it. Who do you want to give a teamwork point to?
I'm gonna give a teamwork point to Clara.
Clara gets her teamwork point. Atira, you burst into your spirit form. What next?
Crack her neck, and one of the arms is going to lash out with its little spirit scimitar and strike at it.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh, 8 will miss.
8 will miss.
And she's gonna move back. Just to be safe.
Yeah, Clara, over to you.
How much armor have we stripped off this thing by now? Damage reduction.
It's down to 6 plates basically. It's down to 6 damage reduction, so he's lost 4.
Okay, I think I need to play this a little bit safer. So, I'm gonna take normal shots. A sharpshooter can come later.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So steady aim, throw the disc. 19.
Definitely hits.
Finally. Oh, I don't even need to roll that. I'm just taking off more armor plates.
Okay, yeah. Bashing off another armor plate goes down to 5 damage reduction. You do have your teamwork point if you want to use it. Otherwise, you can always hold on to it for later down the line.
I think I'm going to hold that for now. I think they're going to come in more handy when we've stripped off the plates.
That makes sense to me. Kathy, I presume. Yeah, you used your thing. You can't move. 12. She is back into a more understanding point of view. Uther, she looks at you. She's very confused. But at the same time, she sees you hacking away at this arm. What she's going to do is she take the help action. She leans back, putting her weight, which is like then putting pressure on her internals, but stretching the arm out as she puts one leg against this thing, and she like basically gives you a more open target, Uther.
Gotcha.
It is its turn. First of all, it's going to try and dig that pincer into her. 11 fails. Her shell is still somewhat protecting her. Then the whip appendage is going to come after first you, Uther, 22, and then 26 versus Caliban. So that's 9 damage to Uther, 7 damage to Caliban.
You know what? I'll take the hit.
Yeah. Impacts into your shell barrier. Uther, over to you.
1 second.
You have advantage from the help action.
Yes, I do. I have a question.
Yes.
What would it be to pass my rebreather to her for this turn? And would it instantaneously fuck me up, or would I have a little bit of wiggle room?
Have a little bit of time. I think that for your fight, you'd be okay. After the fact, would struggle. What I'll say is the rebreather will give her advantage on this D20 roll I'm making as to whether she's more coherent or not. So Uther would help her out with staying in the situation.
Would that just be a free action to hand it off, or do you want a bonus action for that?
I think if you wanted to hand it to her, it would depend on my next roll as to whether she had the forethought to put it on. If you want to use a bonus action, you can put it on her.
I'll use the bonus action. I can save the bonus action creature I was going to use for another moment since I have advantage on this turn. She has the rebreather.
You put the rebreather on her. She's breathing easier even next to this magma river. Go for it. What's next?
Advantage. Sneak is active. 14. Fuck me. Okay.
14. Yeah.
Cool.
Unfortunately, her thought of like opening it up makes it easier at first, Uther, but then as you're swinging down, you see her legs right there. You have to like shift your blow slightly, which sends it off deflecting in order to avoid kind of cutting her by accident. So unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't quite make the mark.
Alrighty.
Caliban.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue trying to like pry open the armor.
Go for it.
Fucking hell.
Natural 20. You can either pry off two plates or...
Yeah, I'll do 2 plates.
Okay, you managed to find a perfect point to pop off 2 of them. We're down to 3 damage resistance, and you have your bonus action. 16 is just shy of hitting, unfortunately. Caliban, 17 is the AC mark.
Fuck.
But the natural 20
Okay.
still took away 2, so...
You know what? I'm fine with that.
Engaged in a duel with these 2 on the top, like, blocking the strikes, striking down, managed to find the right point, and then, like, having another one of them grab hold of you. You have to, like, pull out of its arm, elbow it, try and stab again as you're, like, fighting 2 guys on the back of this thing, trying to get strikes down below. Dafer, I think we're over to you. The fear has subsided.
Wait. One more thing. Is Caliban wearing a rebreather? Or did he just like immediately
all
Yes,
like,
you are.
You are, you are. Yeah, you
adapt?
are wearing a rebreather, Caliban. You maybe don't need it as much, but at least the runes give you, like, better vision through the smoke and stuff as well, so... Dafer.
Okay. Having relaxed somewhat, but still seeing no sign of Vesper getting out of that chokehold.
Yeah,
While
what you
also,
can
like, at
see
least
is,
not-
like, Uther has half severed the appendage that has got hold of Kathy, and you can see one good strike from Uther will get Kathy 3. That's sort of what everything seems to be hinging around from your point of view, I think.
So from given that, I think Dafer is just gonna try and help tackle that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I could just body Uther out of the way.
What are you trying to achieve, Dafer?
What do you want to show me?
Oh,
Attack the arm. I'm not sure if I can do that. from
you
this
can do that
position,
from here.
Or if I
yeah.
can, then I will.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
As long
Okay,
as you're
stop.
in your own square at the end, we can share space for a minute.
That's true as well.
Okay.
That's a good point.
In that case, for my bonus action, I will be triggering my overload. So I now gain resistances, etc. pp. Though not as if she takes damage, I still take that straight.
Yes.
That's not reduced. And I'm gonna recklessly do a boot stomp onto that thing.
Yeah. Aiming for the joint.
Basically,
on the
just on one leg. Yeah, on one leg, trying to kick that thing. The leg is not the most stable, but it gives me more momentum into the kick. So that's the main attack. That's with overload. That's boot with normal at advantage. That's a 20, 10 bludgeoning.
So
Nice.
it will either deal 7 damage, which will leave it very
Oh, actually,
low, or you can pull off a
Ambaric
blade.
Smite comes on top of that.
Go ahead and put the Ambaric Smite on top.
Ambaric
as well,
Smite for damage because I want to destroy that arm. That's the key priority.
Yeah, go for it. Add the Ambaric Smite.
9 lightning.
That is
19.
enough. Dafer, as your kick lands, there is the breaking of the plate, the sudden burst of extra energy, lightning courses through, but it also forces your foot through that final resistance point as the arm breaks off and shatters against the ground. The arm has been removed from this creature.
Set up a charge up top. You can trap it there if we want. That is my turn. It is now marked with
Disadvantage.
like
if it
depending on how
targets
you want to
something
handle
else.
it. With
Yeah.
my
I know what you mean. The end of your turn, it will make an attack against you on that merit.
Yep.
25 will hit you. 3 damage.
That equals my 10 HP.
Atira.
She's going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. Vesper is looking a lot more alert, yeah?
I can't say for sure, but she is in a position to be so. Obviously, the dice will decide.
She is going to shout out her EK name and toss the gun to her.
considering that right now the roll is positive, she will catch it. Whether she uses it on her turn or not, or whatever, depends on the roll, but yes.
I am then going to turn and fish out of my pocket the magic missile crystal and cast it at this creature.
Yeah, go ahead. Obviously staggers it, so you can tell me who the teamwork point goes to, and tell me the damage.
Now it says 3 bolts, yeah?
Yes.
Could I target any of these separate entities, like the ones that Caliban is fighting?
You could, yeah, absolutely.
2 at the ones that he's fighting, and then 1 at the, like the sort of central. So 3d4 plus, 1 each. 3d4 plus 3.
So you're targeting. Sorry, are you targeting all the central being? Was that, or was you targeting all 3 things?
All 3 things.
All 3 things. So give me a 1d4 plus 1 and roll it 3 different times, just so I know which one's which.
All right. Central being, 4 damage.
Yep.
This is all gonna be 1 teamwork point, yeah?
Still 1 teamwork point. Actually, the ones on top have
Okay,
the ones on top have a different stagger. Actually, so
yeah. I will give the teamwork point to Caliban.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the 2 that he's fighting, 5 damage.
Yeah.
And 4 damage.
I just realized. Obviously, the 4 damage you did to the central one would be reduced by 3. Do you want to break a plate instead?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're down to 2.
And backing up. That is her turn.
Clara, down to 2 damage resistance total.
Yeah, let's start taking proper shots at this thing. No matter how long I have to stand up here for. Well,
Jesus Christ.
I didn't have to stand up here. Just complain enough, I guess.
So that, yeah, because it is advantage. So
I
yeah,
checked that. I thought everything.
the crit
Yeah.
will hit.
So how about you cleave it down
Oh
to
my
some
God.
history?
Sweet Christ. Well, I get to reduce it by 2.
What?
Also, that's a double sharpshooter in there. I'm not sure if that
Yeah.
actually.
Christ.
Sharpshooter's a hell of a drug.
Clara very rarely
I
lands
don't think that works
sharpshooter.
that way.
Yeah, sorry, it's
Fucking hell.
it's only plus 10, so it's plus 12 total, I think, because I don't think it's you only double dice, right? Yeah. But still, that's 18 plus 12 is 20, 29, 37 points of damage, reduced to 35, I think. 35 points of damage. Where do you want to aim this thing, Clara? What are you aiming for when you throw this?
I've got a splitting weapon. Let's see if I can try and split, like, one of the, like, additional guys away from the main one.
Yeah, Caliban, like, in a duel with all 3 of these entities, you just sever one of the smaller bodies away. It drops, trying to, like, it, like, reaches out to try and hold on to Caliban, only for its, like, hands to, like, just about miss as it slams and smashes against the ground. You've taken away one of its defending, top individuals, as well as very badly damaging it.
I'm
Clara-
gonna double up, and it's spend my teamwork point to make Uther attack.
Yeah, Uther, go
We're
for it.
fucking squaring up with the Rotten from Dark Souls 2.
You have triggered an attack on me.
Yes, teamwork point. You've
I have
got it.
triggered you to attack.
Same difference. Ooh.
Sorry, buddy. That is 1
Yeah.
off, just barely missing.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Clara's
I'll hit it next time.
her combat is like you have like every 3 shots it comes in hard. So you have like dink, dink, and then you have a rail cannon shot that just splits things in half.
It's the lead guy, whatever his name is. It Jin, the one who's like every
It's Jin, yeah.
Oh,
every,
no.
every 4th shot's just like.
This was, in fact, my 4th shot.
Yeah.
I think that's just the rogue combat loop.
True.
Beg,
with
plead,
one attack.
plead, kill.
End of Clara's turn, it will take a legendary action. It will strike. It's a disadvantage against anyone other than Dafer, but it's actually not that intelligent. I think, having lost one of the bodies on its back, it will go for Caliban. 16, however, misses. I get to roll this with 2d20, taking the higher result. 11 is enough.
16.
Sorry, 16 is still enough.
Wait, 16?
Yeah, I don't know why I said higher result, and I was like, let's take the lower one.
You really wanted her out of this fight.
Action disengage will grab the gun. I've not super been tracking, but I think it was D6 when you threw it down, and you've had another turn since then, Uther. So I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But she took the disengage.
That's what my brain was thinking.
She took disengage action. She's got both her weapons. And then she is going to... So that was 5. This is 15. She is going to start making her way away from this creature. End of her turn, legendary action, will target you, Dafer, with another Spine Whip.
At advantage, that hits.
24. 5 points of damage. Then it is its turn, and it will just target you twice, I think, Dafer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
18 and 25.
Both hit.
That's 5 and 5. So 10 points of damage total, Dafer.
15 damage this turn.
Uther.
She's free, so we can start making our way out. I am going to slash at it.
Yep.
I love these 16s.
Sorry, man. You are skirting it.
Cunning action to disengage.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Get in a blocking position there. And that will be me.
Caliban, your quarry is free. People are starting to pull back. What do you want to do?
Pull back.
Yeah, trying to get Kathy away. There's also that setup explosive on this point, so I think people are trying to lure it there to, like, blow up his legs.
Do you think I could, like, get a running start and jump back onto here?
You take an attack of opportunity, but yes, obviously you can take the disengage action if you would like, but you could definitely leap off of it.
I'll leap off of it and take the attack of opportunity.
Yeah, it will whip at you. I think, is it still at disadvantage?
It is at disadvantage until I have my turn and
Cool.
either missed against an attack against it, or yeah, it misses.
As it's reaching out, it's just about to, like, lash you across the back, Caliban, and then that rune pulls the bone appendage away back towards Dafer, just narrowly missing, striking you across the back.
Alright, I am gonna take a shot at it, at its legs, with
Yeah,
with a Noblesse Oblige's gun.
Yep. Swapping the weapon form, taking the shot.
Damn.
Yeah, 15 unfortunately misses.
Yeah. Oh well.
End of your turn, Caliban. It will whip at Dafer. 24.
It's
3 points of damage, Dafer, and then it's your turn.
Is the only way up from me over the stairs, or is it low enough that I have a realistic chance of climbing up?
Realistically, I think you could climb that day for you're strong enough to make that jump.
In that case, I would reckless attack this thing to get like some level of. Well, let's see. So that is reckless attack, may attack, overload. Yes, that's a normal gauntlet. Actually, let's make that lightning boot just for fun. That's a 21. Let that pry off a plate.
Okay, it is down to a single point of damage resistance as you bash off almost the last of its protection.
Offhand attack, that's also overload, but that's my gauntlets. Like, this is a punch, that punches off the last plate.
Yes, it does.
With that done, I would make my way up here-ish. I'd likely tank an attack of opportunity, so reaction.
Actually, its reaction's been used. It tried to get a Caliban, so you're good.
Okay. In that case, I would be getting up here. Actually, let's make that up here.
End of your turn, it will use a legendary action to amble half its speed, so it sort of keeps up with Uther here. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to run up and make a swing with her arms.
Yep.
First attack. Oh, no, not that. 7 will miss.
Sorry, natural 1, yeah. Ledge in the way.
Bonus action. 13 will also miss.
13 will also miss. Just not the best vantage point with it sort of stooping to pursue Uther and Kathy. You've got a little bit of a gap between you and it.
She's gonna sort of go here.
And
that is her turn?
End your turn, it will legendary action whip Uther. 12 versus this, he must miss. I think your AC is like 14.
Miss.
Yeah, just dodge out of the way.
14.
Clara, all of its protection is gone. People are retreating, getting it towards this explosive trap.
I don't know if I can. I think I'm a little bit worried that if I hit it like that again, it's gonna get so pissed off it might jump over the trap. Like the trap's on the stairs.
I dare
right?
you.
No.
I dare you to hit it that hard again.
I think it's here actually. So if it did come straight for you, you would actually lure it towards the trap rather than anything.
Oh, cool. Well, that works in my favor then. If I can hit it.
15, right?
It's AC 17, right?
It is AC 17, yeah, unfortunately.
I'm gonna spend a charge of my hand grip. Which increases that by 4,
yep.
so it takes it to 19.
That will hit. What does it look like, Clara, as you use the Codex hand grip for, well, I think the first time. I'm trying to remember another time.
Yeah, I haven't actually, outside of what I was given it, I haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
So Clara's gonna pick it up and toss her chakram. She sees that it's not going where she needs it to in midair, and her eyes close, her one hand comes out, and she swipes it downwards through the air, and it just changes direction.
Nice. Go ahead and roll for damage.
It does.
27 points of damage. Do you want to give me...
Ouch.
I'm trying to work out what kind of role to antagonize this thing. I think any social role of your choosing could be performance, intimidation, persuasion. I don't think it can be deception, actually. I think that's the one I would say it wouldn't work, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna put in a little show for it.
18. As like... There is some rudimentary intelligence here. The one body on its back that saw this weapon sort of slice the other one off is tracking it, notices that it's gonna miss, and then like there's some sort of internal communication between the two, and then all of a sudden the weapon redirects and slices through like the core of this large boned guardian creature. At which point you see a reevaluation, some sort of tick in this thing's head, and all of the skulls swivel towards you, Clara.
I'm gonna give it a little wave,
Mm-hmm.
finger wave.
All right.
We're in danger.
I don't think it's got any legendary actions left, although it will be its turn in a second. 17 is definitely enough. I don't think Kathy particularly knows about this explosive trap, but we'll take the dash action. 15, 30. And then seeing you guys are sort of either clustering around this building or not, is going to run up this way. It is the turn of this guardian, who is going to use its spine appendages to wrap around the lip here and like pull itself up and over the edge. It's here. Can you give me an acrobatics check?
Yikes.
Oh no, trampled.
I think you take 5 points of damage as like big heavy slams into you, kind of sends you rolling off to the left-hand side prone.
Okay.
And then it will continue its 15-foot march forward to here. Dayfrey, you've got an attack of opportunity if you want to use it.
If I set off the charge, what's the blast radius?
I think I specifically narrated that you had shaped it to blast upwards. So I actually think it's like a 30-foot cone up, so it actually wouldn't hit you guys at all.
Can I? Are you allowing me to redirect my attack of opportunity into the ground to trigger the trap?
What I'll say is you can't do it recklessly because you're trying to do precise, and what I'll say is it will be at disadvantage because you're trying to target something like in amongst the many like leg limbs of it, but you absolutely can do that in this moment.
What would be, like, given that I'm targeting the trap itself, what's the AC against which I'm rolling?
I think you're technically rolling against this thing's AC still, because you're like trying to get at the weapon in amongst its defensive sort of area. So it would be disadvantage.
I don't think I can make that roll.
Okay. It's up
So
to you.
I'll take. Actually, I mean, my normal attack is not going to do much. I'm going to take the disadvantage shot. Just on the offhand, it does something. It's better than anything else I could do. So that's gauntlet attempt to trigger this thing. Nope.
That's really close. As the blast goes through, some of the force kind of dissipates against the leg, as it is just not enough to quite trigger it yet. It's not going to be able to move any further, so I think it's just going to turn and whip at you, Dayfur, still.
I am looking kind of like a snack there.
I
I think all of those hit.
Did you attack recklessly? I don't remember you doing so.
No,
couldn't attack recklessly.
Yes, I attacked recklessly last turn. I could have sworn I did.
Okay, in which case, yeah. So both hit. So that's 4.
I'm not sure. I feel like it had 2 turns in a row or something, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that's 9 damage total.
4, 5. Yeah.
Uther. Oh, did we lose you, Uther?
Oh,
Uther, hello?
No, sorry.
Okay, just spaced.
I lost myself.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Good.
Everyone's up and over, so I'm going to be up and over.
It is stood basically on the explosive trap.
I don't have anything explosive to trigger it. Wait.
Gun?
Would force damage trigger it?
Yeah, force damage would trigger it.
Alright.
It also can't miss.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the magic missile thing we were given. one of the things is going to hit the explosive, and another one's just going to hit it. Or the other two are going to hit it.
Yeah, so roll 2d4 plus 2. Who do you want to give a teamwork point to? Although I don't think it's particularly going to matter, but
Who doesn't have?
Caliban has
I guess
one.
so.
I think that's it. I think only Caliban has one.
I'll give it to Dafer.
Okay, Dafer gets it. So yeah, go ahead and roll the damage. 2d4 plus 2 for the main body.
Oof.
5. It rolls a dexterity saving throw. It most certainly fails.
Fail.
Point and laugh.
Uther or Dafer, either one of you, as Dafer set the trap, Uther, you triggered it. I don't mind. You can choose between yourselves. One of you give me 5d12.
Do you want
I
to?
did the last 5d12 roll. I'm giving you the honors. Oh, not 5d12, 3d12 in the rocket launch slide, but like,
Yeah.
I exhausted my good roll for that, I think.
Uther, go for it. 5d12.
Can I add a sneak attack?
I'll be very, very nice. Yes, you can add your sneak attack.
Woohoo!
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
fucking god.
Numbers!
Okay, I was joking. You said it.
Sneak bomb.
I'm gonna be really honest, and then I'm going to be very kind. So
Oh
first of all,
boy.
this has 41 points of damage, and it does happen to have 42 health. However, considering the detonation goes off, its legs shatter, and it shrapnel bullets up through its like own body. Shards of bone impact shards of bone. Sections of its body start to like impact through itself. I'm gonna say that deals 60 point damage as like the back appendage part like falls off, and it explodes into a shower of bone shrapnel as this guardian creature is destroyed.
The links we go to deny Caliban a killing blow.
However, the detonation
We have alerted the horde.
gone off in the middle of the city. There are many constructs here in the city, most of them smaller than this one, but all of them alert, and that's where we'll end the session this week.
Woo.
Wahoo!
Oh
Now
no.
we just have to get the fuck out.
Close
I
down.
mean, I feel like that was always gonna happen because this fight was not quiet. Some of them would have
Sure.
been awake either way.
Close down the recording here, and then I'll work a lot. I guess I'll just upload it. Probably just upload it rather than streaming it. I don't know.
Uploaded as part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, cool.